Chapter 121. Jin Yinmao wants revenge. In the main hall, everyone looked solemn, yet not a single person cried. In the Sengoku period, death was commonplace among those present who hadn't lost someone in their family. But no one crying didn't mean everyone was numb. Facing deceased loved ones, the living could only strive to become stronger to avenge them. Uncle Kyonin, when are we going to avenge Grandpa? Little Jinmao's eyes were clear as water, filled with innocence, yet he spoke of avenging his grandpa without hesitation. Little Yinmao beside him also nodded, looking up at Hagoromo Kyonin with anticipation in his eyes. Facing the words of the two little ones, Hagoromo Kyonin suddenly felt a pang of heartache for some reason. These two little ones were barely 3 years old, not even 4, yet at this age, they were already preparing to kill people. What a twisted world this was. After a long silence, Hagoromo Kyonin finally forced a smile and said, Little Yinmao, be good. Leave matters of revenge to the adults. All you need to do is stay at home and wait for news. After speaking, Hagoromo Kyonin secretly made a decision in his heart: he must end the Sengoku period. Moreover, what he wanted to do was definitely not just establish a village, what he wanted to do was a grand unification. The manga from his previous life had already shown that the ninja village era established by Senju Hashirama was a mistake. Take Kakashi as an example. He graduated from the ninja academy at 5, became a genin, a chunin at 6, and a jonin at 12. This sounds like the glorious journey of a genius ninja, but if you think about it from another perspective, it's also the story of Kakashi starting to kill people at 5 or 6 years old. Additionally, there was Uchiha Itachi, that abnormal fellow, who went to the battlefield at 4 and personally killed an Iwagakure ninja. Therefore, Hagoromo Kyonin would absolutely not approve of the ninja village established by Senju Hashirama. At this moment, little Jinmao and little Yinmao, who had been eagerly anticipating personally avenging their grandpa, immediately became unhappy after hearing Hagoromo Kyonin's words. We've already refined chakra and are ninja. We want to go to the battlefield to avenge grandpa. Little Jinmao waved his fists, looking at Hagoromo Kyonin with a face full of defiance. Little Yinmao next to him also nodded. Exactly. Brother is right. Looking at the two little ones' stubborn eyes, Hagoromo Kyonin couldn't help but feel a headache. Then, a thought flashed through his mind, and he came up with an idea. How about this? You said you're ninja, right? Come, give me your hands. After saying that, Hagoromo Kyonin squatted down to be at eye level with them. Although little Jinmao and little Yinmao didn't know what Hagoromo Kyonin intended, they obediently extended their hands. Then, Hagoromo Kyonin took one hand each, directly gripping the two little ones' hands. Come on, I won't use chakra. If you can break free from my grip, I'll acknowledge your ninja status, and then I'll take you to avenge Grandpa. Little Jinmao and little Yinmao exchanged glances, then nodded at Hagoromo Kyonin. Okay, no backing out. Hagoromo Kyonin replied with a smile. No backing out. As his words fell, little Jinmao and little Yinmao seemed to have a telepathic connection. Without any communication, they began to exert force simultaneously. However, Hagoromo Kyonin's large hands were like steel locks, gripping their wrists tightly, making it impossible to break free. So, the two little ones began to resist Hagoromo Kyonin using the small amount of chakra they had refined, but unfortunately, Hagoromo Kyonin's large hands remained motionless. Slowly, the two little ones' faces turned red, and fine beads of sweat appeared on their foreheads, but even at this point, they still refused to give up. Seeing this, Hagoromo Kyonin smiled helplessly. All right. Don't waste your energy. You are still very weak now, and your strength is not enough to avenge your grandpa. When you can earn my acknowledgement, that will mean you have the qualifications to avenge your grandpa. After speaking, Hagoromo Kyonin released his hands. The two little ones gasped for breath, rubbing their wrists. After a few seconds, little Jinmao looked at Hagoromo Kyonin and said, Uncle Kyonin, we will definitely earn your acknowledgement. Little Yinmao also said with a determined expression, yes, once we get stronger, we'll go avenge Grandpa. Uncle Kyonin, you can't go back on your word. Hagoromo Kyonin smiled and nodded. Okay. I will never go back on my word. Seeing this, the two little ones excitedly ran out. Watching the two little ones practicing shuriken in the yard, Hagoromo Kyonin shook his head. They're just kids, indeed. I didn't say anything, but you thought I did, making me seem like I'm tricking children. After paying respects to Hagoromo Tai's coffin, Hagoromo Kyonin was about to leave, but Jinmao and Yinmao's father walked over to him, young clan head. Hagoromo Kyonin's expression was solemn. My condolences. The young man said. Thank you for your concern, young clan head. What has the clan decided regarding my father's matter? Hagoromo Kyonin replied. Uncle Tai was a pillar of our clan, we will not remain indifferent to his sacrifice. The clan meeting has decided that I, the second elder, Hagoromo Taro, and Hagoromo Ishihara will lead half of the clan's ninja to eradicate the Shimura clan. Upon hearing this news, the young man immediately bowed his head and pleaded, Young clan head, please allow me to accompany you to the Shimura clan to avenge my father. Of course, Hagoromo Kyonin would not agree to such a thing. One must know that Hagoromo Tai had 3 sons in total, and 2 had already died. It was hard enough to have this one remaining heir, who then had 2 sons himself. How could he possibly let him go to the battlefield again? If anything were to happen, wouldn't Hagoromo Tai's sons all be dead? However, a refusal could not simply block his filial piety. So, Hagoromo Kyonin began to persuade him indirectly. You must have seen the 2 little ones with me just now, right? Although he didn't understand what the young clan head meant, the young man still nodded. Hagoromo Kyonin continued. Uncle Tai doted on these 2 little ones very much during his lifetime. Just over a week ago, Uncle Tai even brought the 2 little ones to play with me. So, the 2 little ones have a deep bond with their grandpa, and they insisted that I take them to the battlefield to avenge him. They're only 3 years old, you wouldn't want them to die on the battlefield, would you? What? Upon hearing this, the young man was instantly shocked. What were little Jin and little Yin doing? They were only 3, what battlefield were they going to? Seeing the young man's reaction, Hagoromo Kyonin glanced outside the house. These 2 little ones are quite restless, you know. If they're not watched, who knows what might happen. The clan will avenge Uncle Tai, but if the 2 little ones have no one watching them and something happens, Uncle Tai will surely not rest in peace. So, have you decided what you're going to do? Chapter 122 Mobilization and Departure. At this moment, the young man's face was full of struggle. After a long while, he gritted his teeth and made a decision. I understand, young clan head. I will look after Xiaojin and Xiaoyan. I'll leave father's revenge to you. After speaking, the young man bowed deeply to Heigochi Chihana. Seeing this, Heigochi Chihana quickly reached out and helped him up. Don't worry, the Shimura clan is doomed. Not even the 6-path sage can save them. I said so. After being helped up by Heigochi Chihana, the young man looked at Heigochi Chihana solemnly and said, Thank you, young clan head. Heigochi Chihana nodded. It's nothing. I'll be going now. After speaking, he greeted the other clan members in the main hall, then turned and left. Watching the young clan heads departing back, the young man took a deep breath and continued to entertain the constant stream of clan members. Leaving Heigochi Tai's house, Heigochi Chihana walked straight back to his own home. Upon entering the door, Yuhi Chiyu was practicing ninjutsu. Seeing Heigochi Chihana return, she quickly jogged over. Chihana. Heigochi Chihana nodded, then said, Go back to the Yuhi clan territory and have Yuhi Chiyang gather 2/3 of the Yuhi clan's ninja, then wait for me near the official road on Sunset Mountain. Since they were an affiliated ninja clan, they had to prove their worth as an affiliated ninja clan. Now that the Heigochi clan was going to war, the Yuhi clan had to step up, otherwise, what was the point of having them as an affiliated ninja clan? Seeing Heigochi Chihana so serious, Yuhi Chiyu immediately nodded with a serious expression and used the body flicker jutsu to leave the courtyard. In the courtyard, Heigochi Chihana stood for a while, looked up at the sky, then turned and entered the house. The gathering of clan members and the preparation of supplies couldn't be handled immediately. So, during this time, he could also think about how to deal with the Shimura clan next. Time passed bit by bit. Heigochi Chihana sat at the table, his fingers tapping the tabletop repeatedly. As if sensing something, Heigochi Chihana's tapping fingers suddenly stopped, then he got up and walked towards the door. Creak tilde. Heigochi Chihana reached out and pulled open the door. Outside, a hand was just raised, about to knock. Seeing this, Heigochi Chihana tilted his head to the right and dodged it. Thus, Heigochi Truo outside the house stood with his hand raised in midair, his face full of embarrassment, while Heigochi Chihana inside twitched the corner of his mouth slightly. I already opened the door, and you still knocked. How did you become an elite Jonin with that reaction? Are you ready? Heigochi Chihana spoke first, breaking the awkward atmosphere. Heigochi Truo took the opportunity to lower his hand and nodded nonchalantly. Yes, the second elder has already gathered the clan members. Ishihara and I have also prepared the first batch of supplies. The remaining second batch of supplies will be prepared by the first elder. Heigochi Chihana walked out of the house, closing the door behind him. Let's go. Yesterday, his two foolish little brothers went out on a mission again, so he didn't need to say goodbye to them, he could just leave. Soon, Heigochi Chihana and Heigochi Truo arrived at the entrance of the clan territory. On the slope to the east of the clan territory was a dense crowd of Heigochi clan ninja. Heigochi Masakata and Heigochi Ishihara stood at the very front of the team, waiting for Heigochi Chihana, the commander of this campaign against the Shimura. Using the body flicker jutsu to arrive at the front of the team, Heigochi Masakata bowed slightly, young clan head. Following him were Heigochi Truo, Heigochi Ishihara, as well as Heigochi Teruaki and Heigochi Maifei. The two of them almost died at the hands of Shimura Kensuke a few years ago, so this trip to the Shimura clan was also a chance for them to get revenge. Hearing Heigochi Masakata's greeting, Heigochi Chihana nodded, then turned to face his clan members. To be honest, the most people he had faced before his transmigration were during trial lectures in university classrooms. Now, suddenly facing so many people, with everyone's eyes fixed on him, he was genuinely a little intimidated. However, it was fortunate that this wasn't the Uchiha clan, otherwise, with each of them activating their Sharingan, their blood-red pupils emitting an evil aura, it would be even more daunting. After taking a deep breath, Heigochi Chihana looked at the clan members in front of him, then channeled his chakra to make his voice carry further. Clan members, I'm sure you all know that our clan member, Heigochi Tai, was cruelly murdered by the dogs of the Shimura clan while on a mission. The Shimura clan is nothing but a small clan. A few years ago, they followed the Sanju clan in attacking our Heigochi clan. After their failure, they should have obediently tucked their tails and been cautious in their words and actions. But now, not only have they not tucked their tails and behaved, they have even actively provoked our Heigochi clan. Do they really think that because they attacked our Heigochi clan with the Senju clan, they are now on the same level as our Heigochi? Hyenas are still hyenas, they will never become lions. Clan members, tell me, how should we respond to the provocation of this hyena, the Shimura? Although it was his first time giving a pre-battle mobilization speech to so many enemies, after the initial nervousness, Heigochi Chihana quickly composed himself. At the same time, as he spoke more smoothly, his voice gradually became more impassioned. The clan members below, hearing his words, also became increasingly excited. Finally, after Heigochi Chihana finished speaking, all the clan members below waved their fists and shouted with all their might. Kill them! Kill! Die! ... After more than 10 seconds of shouting, the voices of the clan members gradually unified. Destroy the Shimura! Heigochi Chihana nodded in satisfaction. Very good, morale was up. Destroy the Shimura! Move out! With a command, Heigochi Chihana led Heigochi Masakata and the other two down the slope, and then a large group of ninja, led by the four, moved rapidly westward. Upon reaching the vicinity of Sunset Mountain, through his perception, Heigochi Chihana determined the direction where the Yuhi clan had gathered. So, he led his people to meet up with the Yuhi clan. Young clan head, Yuhi Chiyong stepped forward to salute Heigochi Chihana. Pressure creates motivation. In the few years he had served as the Yuhi clan head, Yuhi Chiyong's strength had significantly improved. Although he hadn't yet reached the level of an elite Jonin, he was considered one of the best among the Jonin. Heigochi Chihana glanced at him, then arranged for him to lead the Yuhi clan to join the Heigochi's team. The ninja of the two clans merged, and then set off again. With the movement of the main force, the journey was quickly halfway over. Heigochi Chihana walked and said to Heigochi Masakata, Uncle Masakata, I'd like for the two of us to go ahead first, remove the outer defenses of the Shimura clan, and then see if we can infiltrate the Shimura clan territory and take out Shimura Kensuke, the clan head, ahead of time. What do you think? After a few seconds of thought, Heigochi Masakata nodded. Good, I think it's feasible. The two decided on this plan. Then Heigochi Chihana had Truo and Ishihara continue to lead the team, while he and Heigochi Masakata accelerated their pace directly. Chapter 123 Revisiting the Old Place. The clan meeting for Hagoromo Titanium was held in the morning, and the ninja mobilization for departure was around 3 in the afternoon. After more than 4 hours of travel, at around 7 p.m., the two finally arrived not far from the outskirts of the Shimura clan land. Looking at the familiar yet strange surroundings, Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but sigh, how unpredictable life is. A few years ago, the Hagoromo clan was besieged by the Senju, Sarutobi, and Shimura clans. Out of necessity, he took a huge risk, bringing 2 Jonin, as well as Hagoromo Jiaoyan and Hagoromo Mingfei, to launch a sneak attack on the Shimura clan land. But even so, those 2 Jonin still sacrificed their lives, and even he, Jiaoyan, and Mingfei almost didn't make it back. If it weren't for Hagoromo Zhengfeng's timely support, the enraged Shimura Gensuke might have already flayed them, torn out their tendons, and ground their bones to dust. Now, a few years have passed, and the tables have turned. He still remembered the oath he made to Shimura Gensuke when he retreated, to destroy the Shimura clan. Now he has returned to fulfill his promise, and he wonders what Shimura Gensuke's reaction will be when he sees him. Young clan leader. Seeing Hagoromo Chihin stop and stand in a daze, Hagoromo Zhengfeng looked at him in confusion. After coming back to his senses, Hagoromo Chihin chuckled. A few years ago, Jiaoyan, Mingfei, and I were chased by that dog Shimura Gensuke, scrambling for our lives. Now, I'm back for revenge. It's just a pity that Mingfei and Jiaoyan didn't come along. Otherwise, the 3 of us revisiting this place would have been quite an interesting experience. Hearing this, Hagoromo Zhengfeng smiled. There's no helping it. Jiaoyan and Mingfei's strength is far inferior to yours, young clan leader. If they came, they would only hold us back. What Hagoromo Zhengfeng said was true, because he himself had the strength of a clan leader. As for Hagoromo Chihin, although his chakra had not reached the clan leader level, only that of a top-tier elite Jonin, with the formidable ninjutsu he had developed, he was not at all afraid, even when facing a clan leader. However, Hagoromo Jiaoyan and Hagoromo Mingfei, while quite strong among the younger generation, only had the level of elite Jonin. It would be unrealistic for them to try and ambush Shimura Gensuke, a clan leader level powerhouse. That's true, Hagoromo Chihin nodded. Then, he said with a solemn expression, next, we need to remove the nails on the outskirts of the Shimura clan land, and then find an opportunity to eliminate Shimura Gensuke. As long as Shimura Gensuke could be eliminated this time, the remaining Shimura clan would not be a concern. When the armies of Hagoromo and Yuhi arrived, it would be the time for the Shimura clan's annihilation. Hagoromo Zhengfeng also became serious. Young clan leader, your sensory abilities are outstanding. You should lead the way from now on. Hagoromo Chihin didn't speak but immediately took action. He closed his eyes slightly and raised 2 fingers. The next moment, follow. As soon as he spoke, 2 dark figures instantly vanished from their original positions. Whoosh! A flash of frost. A team of Shimura ninja was patrolling. Hagoromo Chihin instantly appeared beside them. Ice release, cold moon frost blossom. A wave of cold air drifted out. Several Shimura ninja were about to shout about an enemy attack, but as the cold air swept over them, they suddenly felt their bodies stiffen, making it extremely difficult to even move. After about 2 or 3 seconds, this team of Shimura ninja completely turned into several ice sculptures. Cold Moon Frost Blossom was a ninjutsu Hagoromo Chihin mastered after developing Ice Kingdom. This technique was not developed by him, but rather a collection of the Hagoromo clan. Hagoromo Chihin found it very practical, so he learned it. A few seconds later, a figure landed beside Hagoromo Chihin. Young clan leader, your speed is truly getting faster and faster. Hagoromo Chihin smiled. Practice makes perfect. Since learning Ice Domain and Ice Jump, Hagoromo Chihin had been relying on the system to enhance the power of this technique for a long time. It wasn't until more than 2 years ago, after he developed Ice Kingdom, that he further developed the spatial ninjutsu, Ice Jump, through his own training. Now, after several years of training, he could break free from the constraints of Ice Domain and directly use the Ice Jump technique. It's just a pity that without the system's help, and with spatial ninjutsu being extremely difficult to master, the ice jump that Hagoromo Chihin newly developed still had significant flaws. For example, after breaking free from the medium of ice domain, Hagoromo Chihin had to find a new medium to use the ice jump technique. And Hagoromo Chihin's new medium was the ubiquitous ice element in nature. The world is composed of various elements, but their distribution is extremely uneven. Therefore, Hagoromo Chihin's new ice jump was affected by the environment. In ordinary places, within 500 meters, Hagoromo Chihin could sense the ice element in nature in 2 to 3 seconds, allowing him to jump. If he went to places with abundant ice elements, like the land of snow, he could sense it in less than a second. But if he went to a great desert like the land of wind, Hagoromo Chihin might have to spend 6 or 7 seconds to sense the ice element in nature. Therefore, Hagoromo Chihin's new ice jump no longer had a fixed 1-second cooldown. Its cooldown time now fluctuated, ranging from less than a second to as much as 6 or 7 seconds. And in a climate like the land of fire, if Hagoromo Chihin wanted to use ice jump, the cooldown time would be around 2 to 3 seconds. This might seem like a step backward compared to the previous ice jump, but after breaking free from the shackles of ice domain and completely making ice jump his own, as long as Hagoromo Chihin could continuously cultivate and grow stronger, the limitations of ice jump would become smaller and smaller. Until one day in the future, Hagoromo Chihin appearing in any corner of the world with a single thought would no longer be a fantasy. Looking at the ice sculptures beside him, Hagoromo Chihin said in a deep voice, "There are more and more Shimura ninja ahead. We need to be careful." Compared to when Hagoromo Chihin launched his sneak attack a few years ago, the Shimura clan's vigilance was now more than one level higher. Therefore, they had to be even more careful this time. Otherwise, if they alerted the enemy, it would lose the meaning of a sneak attack. Hagoromo Jungfang nodded. Then Hagoromo Chihin sank the ice sculptures underground and immediately vanished again. In the mountains and forests, figures like icy specters flickered intermittently. The Shimura ninja patrolling the eastern side continuously turned into ice sculptures and sank into the ground. As time passed, the number of patrolling Shimura ninja gradually dwindled. Finally, 2 figures appeared not far from the outskirts of the Shimura clan land. Chapter 124, Clan War. Ahead, there was a continuous cluster of buildings, with wooden houses scattered in an orderly fashion. On several taller buildings, flags were planted, and the patterns on the flags indicated that this was Shimura clan territory. "Uncle Masakata, this is it." Hagoromo Chihana was crouched on a tree branch, with Hagoromo Masakata squatting beside him. Hagoromo Masakata's expression was serious, he just nodded without speaking. Hagoromo Chihana continued, "I've already sensed Shimura Kansuke's location. Next, I'll use Ice Jump to take you there. Get ready, and once you see Shimura Kansuke, just chop him down." Shimura clan only had Shimura Kansuke as a clan leader level powerhouse, so in Hagoromo Chihana's powerful perception, Shimura Kansuke's chakra was as conspicuous as a light bulb in the dark. Seeing that Hagoromo Masakata was ready, Hagoromo Chihana closed his eyes, calmly sensing the ice elements around Shimura Kansuke. Because the distance between them exceeded 500 meters, it was not easy for Hagoromo Chihana to perceive. After about 5 or 6 seconds, he finally clearly sensed that trace of ice element. Ready. Hagoromo Chihana opened his eyes and placed his right hand on Hagoromo Masakata's shoulder. Hagoromo Masakata had experienced ice jump before, so he immediately protected himself with chakra, while gripping the katana at his waist with his right hand. The next second, a flash of frost, and the two instantly vanished. Shimura clan territory, clan leader's residence. Shimura Kansuke sat at his desk, holding a golden lock, a smile on his face. Suddenly, a chilling sensation surged into his heart, and the intense stimulation almost instantly made the hairs on Shimura Kansuke's body stand on end. Storm release. Aurora slash. The moment Hagoromo Masakata appeared, the momentum of the blade, accompanied by the restrained storm release laser, instantly shot out from the scabbard, as if the storm release light blade, capable of cutting through anything, was heading straight for Shimura Kansuke's back. Swoosh. Clang tilde. A puff of white smoke rose, and a wooden stake, severed in two, fell to the ground. At the same time, a trickle of blood also fell at Hagoromo Masakata's feet. His gaze shifted, and he saw Shimura Kansuke appear by the window with a grim expression, his body covered in wind-release armor. The back of the wind armor had been cut open by Hagoromo Masakata's Aurora Slash, a piece of flesh turned up inside the cut, and blood slowly flowed from the wound. Damn it, where did you come from? However, before Shimura Kansuke could finish speaking, Hagoromo Masakata slashed again. At the same time, Hagoromo Chihana extended both hands, and two Rasengan appeared directly in his left and right hands, pushing towards Shimura Kansuke. Seeing this situation, Shimura Kansuke no longer bothered to investigate how the other party appeared. He directly used Wind Shunshin to break through the window and flash out. After all, someone who could injure him with one slash was by no means an ordinary opponent, and there were two of them, so he couldn't confront them head-on. Swish! A flash of blade light, and a long gash appeared directly on the wall. Rumble! Immediately after, two Rasengan slammed into the wall, and the enormous chakra turbulence directly blasted two holes in the wall. Clan leader. Such a big commotion, not surprisingly, attracted the guarding Shimura ninja outside into the courtyard. However, Hagoromo Chihana, standing in the wall's hole, narrowed his eyes, ice release, twin spear. In an instant, two trident-shaped ice spears condensed beside Hagoromo Chihana, then shot out instantly. PFF'd. The moment the two ninja appeared, the ice spears directly pierced through their chests. Damn it! Shimura Kansuke cursed under his breath, instantly forming hand signs, wind release, vacuum sphere. Uncle Masakata, strike while he's down, go! Hagoromo Masakata's eyes narrowed, and his blade was instantly enveloped in a storm release laser. Clang! The vacuum sphere was knocked away. Immediately after, Hagoromo Masakata's figure flashed, and his blade light directly slashed at Shimura Kansuke. Seeing this, Shimura Kansuke jumped onto the courtyard wall, retreating while forming hand signs, wind release, vacuum serial spheres. PFF'd, PFFT, PFFT, PFFT. A series of air bullets, like machine gun fire, densely shot towards Hagoromo Masakata. At the same time, Hagoromo Chihana walked out of the house, chakra surging around him, ice release, ice kingdom. Rumble. Accompanied by a muffled sound, an ice structure rose from beneath Hagoromo Chihana's feet. At the same time, an ice layer 3 to 4 centimeters thick spread out from around the ice castle, covering both the ground and the houses. Thump, 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 thump. Heavy yet swift footsteps echoed from within the castle, and a suppressive aura rushed forth. Immediately after, 20 ice soldiers, holding shields in their left hands and swords in their right, stepped out from the castle gate, followed by another 20 soldiers, and then more soldiers, as if an endless supply. Crack! All the soldiers swung their swords in unison. All the frozen buildings, with the soldiers' sword swings, shattered into ice crystals that scattered into the air. Under the moonlight, the sky full of ice crystals, accompanied by the ice-formed castle and ground, made the scene look breathtakingly beautiful. Yet, beneath this exquisite scenery, terrifying killing intent was hidden. Storm release. Laser circus. Facing the overwhelming air bullets, Hagoromo Masakata directly countered with large beams of laser light. In an instant, the laser beams collided with the air bullets, and the sky full of light points instantly illuminated the just darkened sky. 2 or 3 seconds later, the light points disappeared, and the ice soldiers directly chased after Shimura Kansuke. Wind release. Vacuum. Wave. A 5 to 6 meter long wind blade instantly cut several ice soldiers in half at the waist, and at the same time, sliced through the buildings in front. The ice soldiers, losing their ability to move and falling to the ground, turned into flowing ice, causing the ice layer on the ground to spread further. However, this did not stop the ice soldiers' advance. The ice soldiers behind, after the former fell, once again charged towards Shimura Kansuke. And Hagoromo Masakata also took advantage of this time to arrive in front of Shimura Kansuke, clashing with him with his laser blade. The great commotion at the clan leader's residence also attracted the attention of everyone in the Shimura clan. A moment later, more than 20 Shimura ninja came to support Shimura Kansuke, including 3 top-tier elite jonin. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihana's mind stirred, and countless ice soldiers, with surging momentum, charged towards the supporting Shimura ninja. Damn it, what the hell are these things? Don't be afraid, these things are only Chunin level. Quick, take down these ice lumps and support the clan leader. Listening to the cheers of these Shimura ninja, Hagoromo Chihana couldn't help but sneer. Haha, celebrating that these ice soldiers are only Chunin level. I hope you can still laugh later. Chapter 125, Little Devil. It's you. The Shimura clan territory. Near the clan leader's compound, a castle tower forged from ice stood majestically at the center. Around the castle tower, as ice soldiers continuously charged out, the 3 to 4 centimeter thick layer of ice on the ground also spread outwards at an extremely fast pace. Damn it, how are these ghostly things getting faster and faster? A Shimura Chunin couldn't help but curse as he fought. They had originally planned to deal with these ice soldiers and then go support the clan leader, but who knew what was going on with these ice people? After fighting for so long, not only did their numbers not decrease, but their strength also kept increasing. How could they be so abnormal? As time passed, half of the entire Shimura clan territory was already frozen. The ordinary members of the Shimura clan within the frozen area almost instantly had their pupils dilate and their eyes become vacant as the ice spread. And while the Shimura ninja were not immediately frozen mentally by the yin release, their thoughts became increasingly sluggish, and their physical movements also slowed down. This was why those Shimura ninja felt that the ice soldiers were getting stronger. Ah, no, how could this be? You give me. What kind of hellish ninjutsu is this? The passage of time meant that the Shimura ninja of Chunin rank and below, caught within the ice and snow kingdom, were almost slaughtered by the ice soldiers like chopping vegetables. Screams, mixed with frustration and fear, rose and fell. Only the special Jonin and Jonin could hold on for a little longer. Everyone, go, take down that caster. Looking at the caster standing on the ice castle tower, 3 top-tier elite Jonin shouted and lunged directly at Hagaichikan. Seeing this, Hagaichikan sneered, and changes immediately occurred on the castle tower. One by one, plant-like ice sculptures with a slightly cute design appeared on the castle tower. Ice. Release. Ice shard shooter. After the ice sculpture plants appeared, they immediately began shooting ice bullets at the Shimura ninja rushing towards the castle tower. Puff puff puff, puff puff puff, puff puff puff, ... Each ice shard shooter could fire almost 3 ice balls within a second. In an instant, the more than 20 ice shard shooters on each wall directly fired dense ice bullets in all directions. Under the overwhelming barrage of ice bullets, the 3 top-tier elite Jonin could only passively defend, unable to advance an inch. The Shimura Chunin and Genin caught in the crossfire were knocked to the ground with crackling sounds. The powerful impact meant that these Shimura ninja were almost killed on contact and injured by a graze. In less than 10 seconds, the surrounding Shimura Chunin and Genin fell in swaths, like wheat being harvested. As for the ninja above special Jonin, although they weren't dying on sight, they were struggling considerably. Only a scattered few ninja gathered together, cooperating in defense. Haha, this is poor in tactics, rich in firepower. Watch me cover you all to death with ice bullets. Hagaichikan looked down at the Shimura clan territory with a hint of self-satisfaction. After the initial ice spread, followed by ice soldiers attacking everywhere, and then the abundant firepower of the ice shard shooters, everything above the ground in areas covered by ice had turned into ice shards and been leveled. No matter how many buildings were here before, now there was only an ice plain. Moreover, with the ice soldiers expanding their territory, the area of the ice and snow kingdom was still growing. From the start of the battle until now, half of the entire Shimura clan territory had been frozen. Rumble rumble, the ice shard shooters continued to fire. The Shimura ninja who had gathered from other parts of the clan territory also dared not approach this area due to the dense firepower of the ice shard shooters. Seeing this, Hagaichikan turned his gaze towards Shimura Kensuke's side. Due to being injured immediately upon meeting, Shimura Kensuke was now completely suppressed by Hagi Masakata. If not for a few elite Jonin helping him, Shimura Kensuke would probably have been severely wounded by Hagi Masakata by now. Hagaichikan surveyed the surrounding battlefield, then extended his right hand, and a chakra orb appeared. The next second, a flash of frost, and Hagaichikan directly appeared next to Shimura Kensuke, Rasengan. An unsuspecting elite Jonin was instantly struck in the back by Hagaichikan's Rasengan. Crack, a sound of bone cracking was heard, and the elite Jonin's spine instantly broke. He spat blood and was slammed to the ground. Boom! A large, spiraling crater was blasted into the ice on the ground, and the elite Jonin lying in the crater was already motionless. Uncle Masakata, you go deal with those 3 top-tier elite jonin over there. Let me personally kill this old Shimura dog. Hagaichiken slowly stood up, his gaze fixed on Shimura Kensuke. It was completely unrealistic to try and deal with top-tier elite jonin solely by using the firepower of the ice shard shooters. Because ninja of this strength were considered among the strong. In the future, Hagaichiken might be able to directly kill top-tier elite jonin with ice shard shooters, but for now, to deal with ninja of this level, he still had to be serious. Therefore, Hagaichiken decided to swap opponents with Hagi Masakata. After all, this dog Shimura Kensuke had chased him around like a rat years ago. Now that his own strength had increased, he had to personally deal with this dog to feel satisfied. Upon hearing Hagaichiken's words, Hagi Masakata nodded. All right, young clan leader, be careful. Hagi Masakata would almost never refuse Hagaichiken's words, so after a word of caution, he turned to deal with the 3 top-tier elite jonin. Huff, huff, Shimura Kensuke panted slightly, his eyes narrowing as he looked at Hagaichiken. You are. Hagaichiken sneered at his reaction. What's wrong, you dog? You weren't so forgetful when you were hunting me down. It's only been a few years, and you don't remember me. All right, I'll give you a reminder. As he spoke, Hagaichiken said to Shimura Kensuke with a playful look, old Shimura dog. You just wait, the day I become clan leader will be the day your Shimura clan is annihilated. When Hagaichiken spoke these words, his tone was vastly different from a few years ago. When he first shouted that phrase years ago, Hagaichiken's voice was filled with determination. But now, when he said it again, his tone carried a hint of jest. However, despite the playful tone, Hagaichiken had no intention of joking. He was determined to destroy the Shimura clan. Shimura Kensuke on the other side, upon hearing this, was first filled with anger, then paused slightly as memories flooded his mind. Brat. It's you. Chapter 126, Initial Gundam. After Hagoromo Chiharu finished speaking, Shimura Kensuke instantly flew into a rage. Brat. I should have killed you back then, no matter the cost. Hearing this, Hagoromo Chiharu couldn't help but scoff. Haha, you ugly bastard, you think too highly of yourself. Kill me no matter the cost. Could you even kill me back then? If Hagoromo Masakata hadn't provided support at that time, he would have definitely been taken out by Shimura Kensuke. But with Hagoromo Masakata right by his side, Shimura Kensuke's words were purely a pipe dream. Facing Hagoromo Chiharu's provocation, Shimura Kensuke glanced at Hagoromo Masakata's side, only to see countless ice bullets flying everywhere, splashing up ice shards when they hit the ground. These ice bullets also eerily avoided Hagoromo Masakata and Hagoromo Chiharu, ensuring that they wouldn't be affected by their own attacks. Seeing that the weaker clan members outside couldn't provide support, Shimura Kensuke looked at Hagoromo Chiharu with a cold expression. Brat. Do you think you alone can kill me? Hagoromo Chiharu said. Haha, that's right, just with. However, he hadn't even finished speaking. Wind release. Vacuum serial waves. Several crisscrossing wind blades instantly lunged at Hagoromo Chiharu. Damn it, you old bastard. Hagoromo Chiharu cursed under his breath, then a flash of icy color appeared, and he instantly materialized behind Shimura Kensuke, Rasengan. At this moment, more than half of the Shimura clan's territory was already covered in ice, and the ice element in the natural energy was extremely abundant. Therefore, in this environment, Hagoromo Chiharu could use Ice Leap effortlessly. Although 5 or 6 years had passed, Hagoromo Chiharu had grown from his initially somewhat naive appearance to become much taller and more mature, which prevented Shimura Kensuke from recognizing him immediately. But ever since he learned that the opponent was Hagoromo Chiharu, Shimura Kensuke immediately became wary. After all, that mysterious body flicker ninjutsu of his had shone brightly on the battlefield several years ago. Sizzle. Shimura Kensuke instantly turned around, his katana clashing with the Rasengan, producing a large amount of sparks. Wind release. Vacuum great sphere. Puff 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 puff. Several air bullets instantly shot towards Hagoromo Chiharu's face. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chiharu's figure flickered, and he appeared in the distance. Shimura Kensuke saw Hagoromo Chiharu being forced back so easily, and a hint of smugness unconsciously appeared on his face. Haha, brat, you want to kill me? You're decades too early. Hearing Shimura Kensuke say this, Hagoromo Chiharu wasn't annoyed, but instead laughed. Heh, that was just an appetizer. Next, I'll let you witness the ninjutsu that will usher the ninja world into the era of Gundam. As his voice fell, Hagoromo Chiharu instantly clapped his hands together, and chakra surged within his body. Ice release, white tiger descends. Creak creak. Along with Hagoromo Chiharu's movements, a grating, teeth-grinding sound echoed from the ground. Subsequently, the ice layer on the ground surged and accumulated, and the ice surface beneath Hagoromo Chiharu's feet continuously rose. Slowly, an ice tiger comparable in size to a tailed beast took shape. Buzz tilde. The moment the ice tiger formed, its four claws stomped the ground, and a ghostly blue light flickered in its eyes. Hagoromo Chiharu, who had successfully performed the ninjutsu, smiled slightly, and the ice tiger beneath his feet opened its massive maw, roar. The tiger's roar was accompanied by strong winds sweeping the ground, and at the same time, the ice tiger's body shook, and a pair of ice and snow wings grew from its ribs. This is. Looking at the colossal creature in front of him, Shimura Gensuke's pupils couldn't help but contract. Such a physique, such chakra, made him recall the monsters with immense chakra and size recorded in the clan's ancient texts, the legendary tailed beasts. Gulp. A sound of swallowing saliva was heard, and the white tiger's massive size made all the ninja present's pupils shrink sharply. Some weaker Shimura ninja even couldn't help but tremble in their legs. What is this? Is it a monster? Why would such an enemy come to our Shimura clan? Amidst exclamations, fear spread rapidly like an infectious disease. On the other side, Hagoromo Masakata's location. After the white tiger appeared, 3 top-tier elite jonin were immediately captivated. There was already a considerable gap between top-tier elite jonin and clan leader level, and the 3 of them were barely able to hold back Hagoromo Masakata by relying on their numerical advantage. But this sudden change caused flaws to appear in their techniques. Seeing this, Hagoromo Masakata seized the opportunity and immediately took out one of them first. Storm release, Cobra. Instantly, a light blue glowing cobra lunged at one of the top-tier elite jonin. This elite jonin didn't react in time and was directly bitten through the neck by the storm release cobra. At the same time, the high temperature hidden within the storm release cobra instantly cooked the flesh around the wound, preventing the opponent from even spewing blood. Swish. A flash of a blade, and the head of the Shimura ninja attacked by the cobra immediately fell to the ground. After eliminating one enemy, Hagoromo Masakata held his katana, storm release, aurora flash. At this moment, Shimura Gensuke had already reacted. Facing the colossal creature in front of him, he didn't sit idly by, but chose to attack proactively. Wind release. Vacuum great sphere. Whoosh. An air bullet with a diameter of 4 or 5 meters, carrying the sound of tearing through the air, instantly flew towards Hagoromo Chiharu, who was standing on the white tiger's head. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chiharu's mind stirred, and the white tiger beneath his feet directly flapped its wings and ascended into the sky, dodging the air cannonball. At the same time, Hagoromo Chiharu also had to admit that the clan leader-level experts of the Sengoku period were indeed quick to react. As soon as he unleashed the White Tiger Gundam, the opponent launched a counterattack. This level of combat prowess was indeed befitting a clan leader. It's just a pity, under Gundam, all beings are equal. Hagoromo Chiharu's pupils narrowed, and the white tiger beneath him flapped its wings, arriving above Shimura Gensuke's head almost in the blink of an eye. Boom! The tiger's paw slammed down, and the ice layer on the ground instantly cracked and exploded, sending shattered ice flying. Ah, no! The flying ice shards directly pierced through several unlucky individuals. At the same time, Shimura Gensuke, who had dodged the attack, retreated several steps before stabilizing himself under the immense impact. However, before he could make any move, the ice tiger's other paw slammed down again. As the saying goes, clouds follow the dragon, and wind follows the tiger. The synthesis of ice release inherently involves the participation of the wind attribute, not to mention that the ice tiger's pair of ice and snow wings were created by Hagoromo Chiharu, referencing the S-rank ninjutsu, wind release, wind crane wings, which he had snatched from the Saruta clan. Therefore, with the enhancement of the wind attribute, the movements of the ice white tiger at this moment were completely unlike the speed its large size should possess. Chapter 127 Ice Dragon Storm Kill. Boom, 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 ... In the Shimura clan land, Hagoromo Chihana stood on the head of the ice white tiger, exuding an inexplicable aura. The ice-white tiger beneath him, at this moment, was like a cat toying with a mouse, continuously striking Shimura Gensuke with its claws. Facing these extremely fast and powerful tiger claw strikes, Shimura Gensuke could only dodge in a disheveled manner. Elsewhere, due to the loss of Hagoromo Chihana's control, the ice castle tower was no longer continuously producing ice soldiers. Only when an ice soldier was damaged and turned into an outward-spreading ice surface would it produce a new ice soldier. Therefore, the number of ice soldiers in the Shimura clan land no longer increased, and the Shimura ninjas' defensive line began to stabilize under the organization of a group of Jonin and elite Jonin. Listen to my command. Throw explosive tags at that monster to support the clan head. Under the loud shouts of an elite Jonin, the Shimura ninja who could spare time began to pull out kunai and throw them towards the ice tiger. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Dozens of kunai with explosive tags tied to their ends flew towards them, and the ice-white tiger turned, all four paws on the ground. Roar. As it roared, its ice and snow wings flapped, and a strong cold wind directly blew away the thrown kunai and explosive tags. Rumble. The scattered explosive tags exploded one after another. At the same time, Shimura Gensuke seized the time his clansmen bought him and immediately formed hand seals, wind release secret art, thousand blade tornado. Vast chakra surged within Shimura Gensuke's body, and then, a tornado rapidly formed and expanded, sweeping towards Hagoromo Chihana and the ice-white tiger. This was his only chance to counterattack, so Shimura Gensuke went all out, exerting his maximum effort to unleash this, one of only two secret art-level ninjutsu of the Shimura clan. Who? Standing on the ice, Shimura Gensuke gasped for breath while maintaining the tornado's operation, and fine beads of sweat seeped from his forehead. It was evident that Shimura Gensuke had truly exerted all his strength with this move. At this moment, Hagoromo Chihana, standing on the head of the white tiger, also felt the pressure. Secret art level wind release, a bit troublesome. Hagoromo Chihana's expression was solemn as he muttered to himself. Then, he began to form hand seals, and the ice-white tiger, whose size was comparable to a tailed beast, also flapped its ice and snow wings at this moment, slowly rising into the air amidst the tornado. Z's. Thousand-blade tornado. True to its name, within the powerful tornado, countless three-finger-wide wind blades continuously cut back and forth, causing ice shards to constantly fly off the white tiger's body. However, despite this, the white tiger's size did not shrink. Instead, because of these flying ice shards, the tornado began to grow colder. Hagoromo Chihana, standing on the white tiger's head, formed hand seals while an ice wall enveloped him, protecting him from the wind blades within the tornado. Looking at the slowly changing thousand-blade tornado, a sense of unease arose in Shimura Gensuke's heart. At the same time, the ice shards scraped from the white tiger's body by the wind blades caused more and more snowflakes to appear within the tornado. This scene before him brought back memories from several years ago to Shimura Gensuke's mind. At that time, the Sanju, along with his Shimura clan and the Sarutobi clan, besieged the Hagoromo, and on the battlefield then, a similar scene occurred. It was that Hagoromo Masakata, after being hit by his thousand-blade tornado, changed the form of the thousand-blade tornado, causing it to carry sand and dust while electric arcs continuously leapt within the tornado. And now, this scene, was remarkably similar to the situation back then. A coincidence, Shimura Gensuke murmured uneasily. The next second, a feeling of the thousand-blade tornado losing control suddenly came, and then, less than 3 seconds later, the wind release he had unleashed completely went out of control. Hagoromo Chihana, standing atop the white tiger's head, had already ascended to the very top of the tornado. The next second, Hagoromo Chihana, inside the ice wall, suddenly opened his eyes, chakra surging around him, ice release, ice dragon blizzard kill. In an instant, the tornado, carrying ice and snow, twisted and compressed, transforming into an ice and snow dragon. Then, the ice and snow dragon soared into the air, carrying a frosty aura, and instantly dived towards Shimura Gensuke on the ground. So fast. The prolonged battle had already caused Shimura Gensuke to be eroded by the yin release power within the ice, and his thoughts had become sluggish. Therefore, watching the ice and snow tornado charging down at him, Shimura Gensuke was almost unable to make any move to escape. No, clan head, don't. Watching their clan head in grave danger, the Shimura ninja couldn't help but exclaim in alarm. Boom! Amidst the terrified shouts of the Shimura ninja, the ice and snow tornado plunged straight to the ground, its immense power even making everyone feel the entire ground tremble. Then, Hagoromo Chihana showed no mercy. The ice-white tiger, whose size was comparable to a tailed beast in midair, flapped its wings and, like lightning, followed the tornado, diving down. Rumble. A shockwave even greater than before instantly erupted from the center of the battle. The powerful shockwave, accompanied by ice shards, spread outwards like a passing typhoon. Hagoromo Masakata, in the center of the battle, had a solemn expression and immediately used Earth Release, Earth-style wall for defense. The strong wind, mixed with ice shards, lashed against the Earth-style wall, making crackling sounds. The Shimura ninja on the periphery, watching the distant commotion like a meteor impact, were even more terrified. Defend! Defend! The strong winds and shattered ice blew, and the huge shockwave spread out from the Shimura clan land. After several seconds, the ninja present finally felt the ground tremors subside. Hagoromo Masakata, who had dodged the shockwave, immediately withdrew his defense and flashed towards Hagoromo Chihana. Young clan head. Almost instantly, Hagoromo Masakata landed beside Hagoromo Chihana. Hagoromo Chihana did not reply, but silently looked down at his feet. Only a very miserable-looking humanoid creature lay in the ice pit, its body tattered and broken, its head a bloody mess. Only the slight rise and fall of its chest indicated that the opponent was not yet dead. Given Shimura Gensuke's current pathetic state, if it weren't for the tattered piece of cloth on his body with the Shimura clan emblem, Hagoromo Masakata might not have recognized him. A clan head-level powerhouse, truly strong, not even completely dead after an attack of this magnitude. After a long while, Hagoromo Chihana finally spoke with a sigh. Honestly, personal prejudices aside, Hagoromo Chihana still highly acknowledged Shimura Gensuke's strength. If Shimura Gensuke hadn't used that wind release secret art, giving him the opportunity to use such powerful attacks twice in a row, he might not have been able to beat Shimura Gensuke into such a state. It could be said that Hagoromo Chihana's ability to beat Shimura Gensuke half to death largely owed its success to that thousand-blade tornado. Chapter 128. Hide your head and obey. Looking at Shiraratsuke lying in the pit, his chest slightly rising and falling, Hagoromo Chiharu chuckled. I said back then that the day I became the clan leader would be the day your Shimura clan was annihilated. I'm here now to annihilate your Shimura clan. Does that count as breaking my word? But it's okay, I'll apologize on your tombstone. Alright, Hagoromo Chiharu annihilated the Shimura clan before becoming the clan leader. How does that sound? As his words fell, Shiraratsuke's chest visibly rose and fell more dramatically. It was clear that he might still have a faint consciousness, otherwise, he wouldn't have such a strong reaction. Hagoromo Masakata, standing nearby, couldn't help but recall, I remember when I first broke through to the clan leader level, I attacked him with Arashi Release secret art, Storm Blade Kirin. I thought it was a sure kill blow, but unexpectedly, this guy mysteriously disappeared and then ran off to Sarutobi Kaho's side. I don't know how he managed to do that at the time. However, for the young clan leader to be able to heavily injure him directly this time, not giving him any chance to escape, young clan leader, you are indeed the one who can lead our Hagoromo clan to become even stronger. Hearing this, Hagoromo Chiharu smiled and waved his hand. I was able to heavily injure him largely thanks to Uncle Masakata giving him a cut earlier, which injured him, and then fighting him, which consumed some of his chakra. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been so easy for me to heavily injure him. As for why Shiraratsuke didn't dodge like last time, the main reason was probably the erosion of yin release power, which slowed down Shiraratsuke's thoughts, so he didn't have time to use the reverse summoning jutsu to escape. Seeing Hagoromo Chiharu say this, Hagoromo Masakata said, young clan leader is too modest. With your current strength as a top elite jonin, you can heavily injure a clan leader level individual like Shiraratsuke. I imagine that once you reach the clan leader level, the clan leaders of the Uchiha and Senju won't be your opponents either. Hagoromo Chiharu smiled, shook his head, and said nothing. If it were Senju Butsuma and Uchiha Tajima, he would still have confidence in suppressing them after reaching the clan leader level. But the future clan leaders of the Uchiha and Senju were Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, those two guys. These two will be known as the god of ninja and the Asura of the ninja world in the future. Facing such enemies, Hagoromo Chiharu gets a headache just thinking about it. Seeing that Hagoromo Chiharu didn't want to continue on this topic, Hagoromo Masakata turned and asked, "Young clan leader, what should we do now?" Hagoromo Chiharu glanced at Shiraratsuke, who was lying on the ground, bloody and mangled, then extended his hand, and a katana made of ice appeared in his hand. PFF'd. As the katana fell, Shiraratsuke's chest, which had been slightly rising and falling, immediately stiffened and then fell silent. Subsequently, a chill flowed from the blade, gradually spreading throughout Shiraratsuke's body, quickly freezing all of Shiraratsuke's body except for his head. Bang! With a twist of the katana, the frozen body instantly exploded into ice crystals that scattered and fell to the ground, leaving only his head lying on the ground, the last remnant of Shiraratsuke in this world. "This thing, we'll take it back to commemorate Hagoromo Titanium, and the clan members who died a few years ago due to the three-clan war." Saying this, Hagoromo Chiharu froze Shiraratsuke's unrecognizable head and then threw it to Hagoromo Masakata. Hagoromo Masakata took the head and looked at Hagoromo Chiharu, "Young clan leader, what should we do with the remaining Shimura clan?" Following the battle between Hagoromo Chiharu and Shiraratsuke, the central area of the Shimura clan's territory had long been destroyed and dilapidated, and the Shimura clan members within the Ice and Snow Kingdom naturally turned into shattered ice, nourishing the earth. Only those Shimura clan members outside the Ice and Snow Kingdom barely survived. Hagoromo Chiharu was now standing in the very center of the large pit, more than 3 meters deep from the ground. He couldn't see the situation of the Shimura clan members outside the Ice and Snow Kingdom at all. However, even without seeing them, Hagoromo Chiharu could imagine what they were thinking now. It was nothing more than hoping that the clan leader could withstand this wave of attacks and then counter-kill the hateful ice release ninja. Unfortunately, the current outcome was destined to disappoint them. Hagoromo Chiharu looked at Hagoromo Masakata and replied, "Since the plan succeeded, Shiraratsuke has been eliminated, and the Shimura clan has suffered considerable damage, then naturally, we will execute Plan A." Hagoromo Masakata nodded, then jumped out of the ice pit with Shiraratsuke's head. Hagoromo Chiharu followed closely behind. Slowly, the two figures walked towards the surviving Shimura clan. The previous Ice and Snow Kingdom covered a little more than half of the Shimura clan's territory, which resulted in half of the ordinary people of the Shimura clan dying directly. Later, Hagoromo Chiharu's giant ninjutsu, White Tiger descends, and the impact wave brought by the diving ice dragon storm kill, further destroyed the entire Shimura clan's territory. In this situation, if the ordinary clan members hadn't evacuated in time under the organization of the ninja, they would probably all be dead. Therefore, this led to only 1/3 of the Shimura clan's ordinary people remaining, and the number of ninja was less than half of the original. Facing a situation where their clan leader was missing and two enemies were walking towards them, these Shimura clan members all timidly took a few steps back. At this moment, one of the elite Jonin mustered his courage and walked forward 2 steps. Where is our clan leader?" The elite Jonin swallowed, his voice slightly trembling as he looked at the two in front of him. Hagoromo Chiharu said calmly, "Your clan leader has been defeated and killed. This is his remains." Saying this, Hagoromo Chiharu pointed to the ice chunk Hagoromo Masakata was holding. The Shimura clan members looked in the direction Hagoromo Chiharu was pointing. They saw an unrecognizable head sealed inside a crystal-clear block of ice. "Damn it, you actually, bastards." For the clan leader, looking at the head in Hagoromo Masakata's hand, several Jonin immediately became furious. However, before they could finish their words, Hagoromo Masakata raised his hand and flung out several Arashi release lasers. Arashi release, Peregrine Falcon. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Everyone felt a blur in front of their eyes, and then several light blue small birds flew past the necks of those Jonin, piercing 2-finger-wide holes through their throats. Bang bang bang. Several Jonin who had been overcome with anger and wanted to avenge the clan leader immediately clutched their necks and fell to the ground, meeting their end. "When our young clan leader speaks, you'd best shut up." Hagoromo Masakata's eyes coldly swept over everyone. The Shimura clan members, who had been agitated, instantly deflated after Hagoromo Masakata's actions. After all, the two of them alone had infiltrated the Shimura clan, killed the Shimura clan leader, and the only 3 top elite Jonin. In addition, the opponents had destroyed the entire Shimura clan's territory and killed many clan members. Although they were not clear how many clan members had sacrificed themselves, the opponents' strength was definitely not something they could easily resist. Therefore, facing the powerful two, they could only obediently shrink their heads and see what the opponents were going to say. Chapter 129. The Brave Shimura Clan. Seeing that the Shimura clan members had quieted down, Hagoromo Chiharu smiled. Playing both the good cop and the bad cop, it wasn't the first time he had done this. Everyone, the reason we came this time is because your clan leader killed my uncle. As a nephew, I must avenge him. But you are innocent, so I've decided to give you a chance to live. What do you say? Although Hagoromo Chiharu had already sentenced these Shimura clan members to death in his heart, he was all smiles. No one would have expected that this person, with no malice on his face, was acting so amicably precisely because he wanted to completely wipe out the Shimura clan before him. The Shimura clan members looked at each other, unsure how to respond. It was the elite Jonin who had first stepped forward who was more courageous. He took a deep breath and looked at Hagoromo Chiharu. What do you want? Seeing that the other party intended to negotiate, Hagoromo Chiharu breathed a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that the other party would refuse to cooperate and try to fight him to the death. If that were the case, even though none of the people in front of him could put up a fight, if they decided to run, he wouldn't be able to keep all of them. After all, he was also human, and after such a long battle and continuously using several powerful ninjutsu, his chakra consumption was considerable. Therefore, if this group of Shimura clan members were determined to escape, then his declaration of annihilating the Shimura clan would become an empty boast. Then, Hagoromo Chiharu looked at the other party and said, as the saying goes, every wrong has its perpetrator, and killing Shimura Gensuke has already avenged my uncle, so I don't want to make things difficult for you. However, the strongest person in your clan now is only an elite Jonin. Such strength is no longer enough to be a second-rate ninja clan in the ninja world. When a powerful clan declines, those smaller clans will definitely not miss such an opportunity to feast. At that time, your fate is imaginable. How about this? I'll give you Shimura a suggestion. Become our subordinate ninja clan. Impossible. The elite Jonin refused without thinking. Hagoromo Chiharu didn't care about the other party's attitude. Instead, he continued to say with a smile, you alone cannot represent everyone's opinion. How about all of you discuss it properly? To show my sincerity, I will first release my ninjutsu. As he spoke, Hagoromo Chiharu formed hand signs, dispelling the ice soldiers standing behind him. However, at the same time the ice soldiers disappeared, a wave of cold air fell from their bodies and began to roll across the surrounding ground. The Shimura clan members thought this was an effect of the ninjutsu being released, so after a glance, they didn't pay much attention to it. Looking at Theosensor, Hagoromo Chiharu, the elite Jonin hesitated. He was not originally a high-ranking member of the clan and rarely participated in clan decisions. Now, with the future of the Shimura clan resting on his shoulders, he truly felt a sense of bewilderment and helplessness. He turned to look at his clan members, and seeing that everyone was starting to become restless, he steeled himself and turned to walk towards his clan members. Upon seeing the elite Jonin's action, Hagoromo Chiharu smiled and said, make sure to consider everyone's opinions, whether ninja or ordinary people, you can all express your opinions freely. I respect each of your ideas. If anyone feels their opinion has been ignored, they can step forward freely, and I will stand up for you. After speaking, Hagoromo Chiharu stood still, no longer making any moves. And these Shimura clan members, seeing that Hagoromo Chiharu indeed would not interfere with them, began to discuss among themselves, one after another, how the Shimura clan's path should proceed. However, what they didn't notice was that the cold air that rolled on the ground after the ice figures were dispelled had already spread, forming a layer of frost beneath their feet. Unfortunately, due to the darkness and their fear, these Shimura clan members did not notice the thin layer of ice beneath them. Seeing that his preparations were complete, Hagoromo Chiharu slowly closed his eyes and began to manipulate the yin release power within the frost. Hagoromo Masakata, who was nearby, also discreetly moved a few steps closer after seeing Hagoromo Chiharu's actions, to prevent any accidents. Under Hagoromo Chiharu's control, the yin release power within the frost began to invade the Shimura ninja. As for the ordinary people of the Shimura clan, they were not eroded by the yin release power. This was not because Hagoromo Chiharu was kind-hearted, but because ordinary people's resistance to yin release was simply too poor. If Hagoromo Chiharu were to indiscriminately release yin release power without control, the ordinary people of the Shimura clan would have their minds frozen immediately, and other Shimura ninja would also discover the flaw because of it. At that time, if the Shimura ninja, sensing danger, chose to flee for their lives, that would not be good. Slowly, under Hagoromo Chiharu's careful manipulation, the Shimura ninja were unknowingly eroded in their souls by the yin release power, causing their thoughts to become slower and slower. The ordinary clan members of the Shimura clan thought that the ninja needed to carefully weigh the pros and cons, so they didn't have too many doubts. Just like that, time slowly passed. Suddenly, Hagoromo Chiharu opened his eyes, a slight smile on his lips. "They're here." Immediately after, as his voice fell, countless Hagoromo ninja and Yuhi ninja who had arrived as reinforcements landed around them, surrounding the remaining members of the Shimura clan. It was at this moment that Hagoromo Chiharu no longer held back. The yin release chakra, contained within the ice, instantly surged into the bodies of all the Shimura clan members. Swish, 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 several figures landed beside Hagoromo Chiharu. Young clan leader, Chiharu, Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Shoiwa, among others, greeted him. Immediately after, everyone's gaze fell upon the Mukuro of the Shimura clan's territory. What exactly happened? It's as if it was ravaged by a natural disaster. Looking at the scene before them, neither the Hagoromo ninja nor the Yuhi ninja remained calm. Was this shattered place really the Shimura clan territory? What exactly happened here? However, unlike the reactions of the Hagoromo and Yuhi ninja, when the Shimura clan saw the sudden appearance of countless ninja, they immediately fell into disarray. Wait, we're discussing. However, just as the Shimura ninja spoke up, preparing to express their agreement to become a subordinate ninja clan, they discovered that many of their clan members beside them were almost completely unresponsive. And these unresponsive clan members all shared a common characteristic: their strength was meager. Looking at the panicked Shimura ninja opposite him, Hagoromo Chiharu wore a mysterious smile. "What, have you reached a conclusion?" "Absolutely refuse." "Very good, I admire your heroic spirit of bravely facing death." As he spoke, Hagoromo Chiharu raised his right hand. "Come, brothers, send the brave Shimura clan on their way." Chapter 130, Stone Chamber. "Ah, you're despicable, shameless scoundrel." Under the cover of night, outside the ruined walls, a massacre was unfolding. Due to the influence of Hagoromo Chihan's yin release, the ninja of the Shimura clan generally saw their strength drop by more than one level. For example, a Jonin from the Shimura clan could be killed within a few moves by almost any Chunin from the Hagoromo or Yuhi clans. Only the former elite Jonin could barely put up a struggle. However, there were only so many elite Jonin, and with their cognitive abilities diminished, a few Hagoromo Jonin could simply take them down with swords, without even needing ninjutsu. From the moment the ninja of the Hagoromo and Yuhi clans attacked until the curses subsided, only 2 or 3 minutes passed. With the last scream, the ground was littered with Mukuro. Among them were ninja and ordinary people. There were elderly and weak, women and children. Under Hagoromo Chihan's command, the Yuhi clan and Hagoromo clan mercilessly slaughtered all of them. In the air, the smell of blood lingered, refusing to dissipate. Hagoromo Chihan looked at the scene before him, where blood converged and flowed like a small stream in all directions, and couldn't help but turn away. After so many years of transmigration, such a bloody scene could only be rivaled by a battlefield. But unlike a battlefield, what happened here was an almost one-sided massacre. If the Shimura clan hadn't allied with Sarutobi and Senju a few years ago, almost wiping out the Hagoromo clan, he would never have issued an order to massacre the Shimura clan. Seeing Hagoromo Chihan turn away without speaking, the ninja on site could only stand still, silently awaiting further instructions. Hagoromo Zhengfeng, Hagoromo Teluo, Hagoromo Xiuan, Hagoromo Zhaoyan, and Hagoromo Mingfei walked behind Hagoromo Chihan. "Young clan leader," Hagoromo Zhengfeng said. Hagoromo Chihan waved his hand upon hearing him, then said, "Follow me." After speaking, Hagoromo Chihan walked forward. The 5 didn't understand why, but could only follow. Hagoromo Chihan stopped when he reached the central western part of the ruined Shimura clan grounds. Here, the ice layer was noticeably thicker than in other places, and there were still traces of the surrounding courtyard walls, clearly indicating that this used to be a courtyard. Hagoromo Chihin squatted down, placing his hands on the ice. The ice on the ground gradually disappeared, revealing a stone slab more than 3 meters wide. This is... Hagoromo Teluo exclaimed in surprise. Hagoromo Chihin stood up. Uncle Zhengfeng, open it. After speaking, he moved away from his original position. Hagoromo Zhengfeng nodded and walked to the stone slab. Storm release, Aurora cut. Swish 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 swish. 4 slashes were instantly made, and a cross-shaped cut appeared directly on the stone slab. Rumble. Hagoromo Zhengfeng stomped his foot, and the stone slab shattered, revealing the stone steps beneath. When we started, I told the ice soldiers to pay attention. There used to be a lot of kunai and shuriken stored here. After a big battle, everything on the surface has been destroyed. I hope there's something good underground. Yin release represents extreme spiritual power. After Hagoromo Chihin's cultivation over the past few years, the ice soldiers created by his ice release, empowered by yin release, could now briefly possess some intelligence. Although this intelligence was insignificant compared to humans, they could still simply identify some things. It was precisely because of these ice soldiers with a small amount of intelligence that Hagoromo Chihin was able to find the Shimura clan's warehouse and protect it during the operation. Unfortunately, his battle with Shimura Gensuke was too intense, and the warehouse's location was close to the center of the battlefield. Therefore, the surface warehouse has now been so devastated that only debris buried in the ice remains. It's uncertain if there will be anything good underground. Young clan leader, I'll go in first. Fearing there might be danger inside, Hagoromo Zhengfeng was the first to step down the stairs. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihin smiled and shook his head, then followed him down. Subsequently, Hagoromo Teluo and the other 4 followed one by one down the steps. Fortunately, there were no traps underground, and the 6 quickly finished descending the steps. This was a stone chamber, with many iron boxes placed in the center. Seeing this, Hagoromo Teluo, who possessed magnet release, took the initiative. Creak tilde. Under the control of magnet release, the lid of the topmost iron box opened. Hey, Chihin, it's explosive tags. Hagoromo Zhaoyan stepped forward to look and immediately shouted excitedly. The others quickly came forward to check. It's true. The quantity, it must be 70 to 80,000 sheets. Hehe, take them, take them. Hagoromo Teluo grinned and directly closed all the boxes, preparing to pack them up and take them away. Having obtained so many explosive tags at once, Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but laugh. Uncle Teluo, with so many explosive tags, you must watch them carefully. Don't let them explode, otherwise, if such a large number of explosive tags explode together, the few of us will definitely go to heaven. Upon hearing this, Hagoromo Zhaoyan immediately became displeased. Chihin, can't you wish for something good? One must know that when they attacked the Shimura clan grounds a few years ago, they ignited countless explosive tags in the warehouse. Even to this day, the towering pillar of fire left a deep impression on him. If it hadn't been for the barrier sealing it at the time, the entire Shimura clan grounds would have been overturned. If that were to happen again now, as he thought about it, Hagoromo Zhaoyan suddenly shivered. Oh my, it's too scary. Hagoromo Mingfei, who was nearby, clearly also recalled the experience from a few years ago, so he subtly moved away from Hagoromo Teluo. Ha 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 ha. Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but burst out laughing. It was just explosive tags, what was there to be afraid of? As long as that thing dared to explode, he dared to use ice jump to escape. As long as he didn't die, that was all that mattered. After a small joke, the 6 once again inspected the stone chamber. Sure enough, on the east side of the stone chamber, they discovered another secret door. Rumble. The secret door slowly moved open, and torches inside automatically lit up. Is this chakra metal? Looking at the large piece of metal behind the secret door, Hagoromo Chihin stepped forward and touched it twice. It looks like this should be the chakra metal that Tai went to the land of Earth to purchase, Hagoromo Teluo said with a solemn expression at the side. Such a large piece, it could make at least 7 katanas. Its volume is almost double what the clan said. Hagoromo Shiuan also stepped forward, examining the metal block. Hagoromo Chihin said, take it. Our things, no one can snatch them away. Chapter 131 Why do I always do the work? On the ruined walls of the Shimura clan, a large group of ninja were conducting a systematic search. Actually, calling them ruined walls wasn't quite accurate, because after a major battle, the Shimura clan's territory had long since turned into a frozen wasteland, with only the broken foundations of walls hidden beneath the ice proving that this had once been a complex of buildings. In a less populated area, Hagoromo Chihana and a few others gathered, awaiting news from their clan members who were searching for supplies. They had already moved everything out of the stone chamber. Besides the exploding tags and a piece of chakra metal, there was nothing else. Therefore, they now only hoped that the clan members' systematic search would uncover some good things. Otherwise, annihilating a second-rate ninja clan like this, only to gain little benefit, would be too great a loss. Sigh tilde, it's my fault too, why did I unleash Ice Kingdom for no reason? After the battle, all the supplies and everything on the ground were utterly destroyed. What a loss. It's such a damn loss. Hagoromo Chihana sat on the ground, shaking his head with a look of deep regret. A second-rate ninja clan, a clan that might have been passed down for hundreds of years, its wealth, its collections, all destroyed by himself, this wave of action was an absolute loss. Tisk tisk, look at these kunai fragments, what a pity. Hey, why don't we dig them out and take them back to resmelt them? Maybe we can forge quite a few new weapons. Hagoromo Terushi squatted on the ground, his right hand touching the dense iron fragments frozen beneath the ice. As for why Hagoromo Terushi was squatting and not sitting like Hagoromo Chihana, he stated that with the 5 or 6 centimeter thick ice layer on the ground, he was afraid his backside would freeze if he sat down. At this moment, Hagoromo Tero laughed. Hey, kid, are you looking down on your uncle? Dig them out. Do you think my magnet release is just for show? Oh, Hagoromo Chihana immediately reacted. That's right, Uncle Tero, don't you have magnet release? Quickly get these iron fragments out, taking them back can also reduce some of our losses. Unexpectedly, Hagoromo Tero had no intention of acting. Young clan head, if I were to get all these iron fragments out, it would exhaust me to death. And even if I got them all out, we'd still have to take them back to resmelt and forge them, which is quite uneconomical. On the contrary, a second-rate ninja clan like Shimura must have collected a lot of wealth. If we can just find that wealth, wouldn't that be better than digging for broken iron here? Hagoromo Chihana rolled his eyes at him. Finding wealth, you say it so easily. Such a large area, and every part looks pretty much the same, how are we supposed to find anything? Hagoromo Tero chuckled. Where there's a will, there's a way. The clan members are all diligently searching for spoils of war. Young clan head, you can't give up. After some thought, Hagoromo Chihana clapped his hands and stood up. All right, before dawn, if we find the wealth, we won't collect these iron scraps. If we don't find anything, then recovering the losses will be up to you, Uncle Tero. After saying that, Hagoromo Chihana walked towards the clan members. After all, he still needed to help with the task of finding spoils of war. Because almost the entire Shimura clan territory was now frozen by his ice release, with the thin ice layers being about 3 to 4 centimeters thick. And the thicker areas were where more ice soldiers had sacrificed themselves. With the continuous accumulation, some places had ice layers as thick as 20 centimeters or more. Therefore, when searching for spoils of war, as soon as the clan members found a suspicious spot, he would have to go and melt the ice, which was a significant hassle. As for why he couldn't just unfreeze all the ice at once, that question was more complex to explain. In short, Hagoromo Chihana's current ice release was driven by yin release, and yin release was a mysterious thing. With very little chakra, it could unleash a large amount of ice release. But to dispel the ice release, he would have to rely purely on Hagoromo Chihana's ice release chakra to brute force it. Given Hagoromo Chihana's current chakra reserves, if he wanted to unfreeze the entire Shimura clan territory, he would surely collapse from exhaustion. Haha, good luck. Hagoromo Ishihara, standing nearby, chuckled as he patted Hagoromo Tero's shoulder. Hagoromo Tero's face was full of sorrow. Why do I always have to do these laborious tasks? Hagoromo Ishihara spread his hands. No choice. Who told your magnet release to be so practical? Hagoromo Terushi nodded along. That's right, go for it, Uncle Tero. Hagoromo Maifei also smiled and nodded. Hearing them say this, Hagoromo Taro became even more helpless. I wish I had awakened a different bloodline limit. Hagoromo Terushi. Hagoromo Maifei. Do you know that saying such things can get you beaten? Awakening another bloodline limit, is that something you can control? Do you know how many people in the clan long to awaken a bloodline limit, and you still dare to complain that awakening magnet release requires physical labor? If we couldn't beat you, and if you weren't an elder, we would definitely teach you a lesson. Time slowly passed, just as dawn was breaking. Rumble. Another underground stone chamber was opened. Go in and move the things out, Hagoromo Chihana reluctantly instructed the clan members nearby. This was already the fourth stone chamber they had found. Besides the first stone chamber he and Hagoromo Taro and others found, which contained exploding tags and chakra metal, the other three stored only grain. Therefore, Hagoromo Chihana no longer held much hope for this newly discovered stone chamber. However, surprises sometimes only arrive when one is about to give up. Young clan head. So much money. Suddenly, a surprised shout came from below the stone chamber. What? Hagoromo Chihana's eyes widened instantly. After realizing what was happening, he didn't even bother with the stairs, directly jumping down in 2 steps. Seeing the young clan head enter, the other clan members around quickly followed. From a distance, Hagoromo Taro and the other 3 also immediately ran over after hearing the commotion. Clang! The first clan member to enter opened the last box. Hagoromo Chihana looked up, and what met his eyes were over a dozen wooden boxes, each more than a meter tall. One of the boxes contained gleaming yellow gold, and there were 5 boxes of dazzling silver. The remaining boxes were all neatly stacked with copper coins. Holy crap, we're rich. Looking at the dozen or so boxes of metal symbolizing wealth before him, Hagoromo Chihana's eyes couldn't help but sparkle. Whether before or after his transmigration, he had never seen so much precious metal. If this were his previous life, how much money would this be? Hagoromo Chihana's eyes widened instantly. After realizing what was happening, he didn't even bother with the stairs, directly jumping down in 2 steps. Chapter 132 The Next Steps. Swish, swish, Hagoromo Masakata and the others landed beside Hagoromo Chicken. So much money. This must be half of our Hagoromo clan's assets. Even Hagoromo Masakata, usually so serious, couldn't help but exclaim in admiration at the gold and silver before him. Hagoromo Taro stepped forward and picked up a gold brick. This is great. We finally found some spoils of war. I finally don't have to mine anymore. Well, in Hagoromo Toro's opinion, collecting iron scraps from the ground was no different from mining. Hagoromo Ishihara added from the side. Shimura truly lives up to its name as a second-rate ninja clan with such a long heritage, it certainly has a lot of wealth. However, second elder, you might not know that these assets, even at our clan's strongest, only accounted for a quarter of our total. If it weren't for the Senju's 3 clans jointly attacking us a few years ago, we wouldn't have suffered such massive losses. After all these years, our clan's assets have only recovered to half of their original level. Is that so? Hagoromo Masakata murmured softly. During the 4-clan war a few years ago, he was only very close to being an elite Jonin, not even an elite Jonin, so he naturally wasn't clear about the detailed information regarding the clan's assets. Later, Hagoromo Masakata broke through to the clan head level, and by the time official duties were assigned, the 4-clan war had already ended. After that, it was the Hagoromo clan's recovery period, and he hadn't paid attention to how much wealth the Hagoromo clan had previously possessed. Now it seems that the war a few years ago truly caused an extraordinary amount of depletion for the Hagoromo clan. At this moment, Hagoromo Maifei began to constantly grope along the wall. Logically speaking, a place like this should have a secret room, right? Hearing this, Hagoromo Chicken nodded, and also began to search. After all, the gold and silver assets wouldn't disappear if left there, so it was better to first look for any other gains. After feeling the stone wall for a while, a stone brick was suddenly pressed by Hagoromo Maifei. Boom! Accompanied by a dull sound, the stone door hidden in the wall slowly opened. There really are good things, Hagoromo Chicken said. After speaking, the group walked inside. What greeted their eyes was a shelf, on which were placed scroll after scroll. Are these ninjutsu scrolls? Hagoromo Shoiwa couldn't help but whisper. Seeing these items, Hagoromo Chicken actively stepped forward and opened them to examine. C-rank ninjutsu, wind release, gentle breeze cut. What a trashy ninjutsu. Hagoromo Chicken put it back with a hint of disdain. Oh, B-rank ninjutsu, earth release, flying rock bullet. Hagoromo Shoiwa also picked up a scroll and began to read it. Immediately after, the remaining few also picked up scrolls, examined them, and categorized them for easy transport later. After a long while, found it. The Shimura clan's S-rank ninjutsu, wind release, thousand blade tornado. A slight smile played on Hagoromo Chicken's lips. His ice release, Ice Dragon Blizzard Kill's original power was not as great as it was during his battle with Shimura Gensuke. Now, with this ninjutsu from the Shimura clan, after some research, his Ice Dragon Blizzard Kill's power would undoubtedly reach a new level. Young clan head, there's also an S-rank ninjutsu here, but it's not an offensive ninjutsu. Instead, it's a binding ninjutsu, wind release, wind curse seal. When activated, it can restrict an enemy's movement capabilities. Hagoromo Masakata said as he handed the scroll to Hagoromo Chicken. After taking the scroll, Hagoromo Chicken nodded, not bad. After some organization, everyone moved the ninjutsu scrolls and the gold and silver assets out of the underground stone chamber. After a thorough check, once it was confirmed that there were no remaining items in the Shimura clan's territory, Hagoromo Chicken ordered them to make a fire and cook a meal not far to the south of the Shimura clan's territory and to rest a bit. The sun slowly rose. Under a tree, Hagoromo Chicken and 6 others sat around. As for why there were 7 people, it was because Yuhi Akiharu had joined them. The other clan members, meanwhile, found their own spots to eat breakfast. Everyone, the Shimura clan has been dealt with. I've decided not to return to the clan for now, but instead to press on and head south to eliminate the Sarutobi clan. What do you all think? Hagoromo Chicken asked the other 5 for their opinions while eating. Hagoromo Shoiwa immediately waved his chopsticks in agreement. Good, good. When we fought the Shimura clan, I hadn't even used my full strength, and they were already down. It wasn't satisfying at all. That's because the young clan head is powerful. What does that have to do with you? Hagoromo Maifei couldn't help but retort from the side. Hey, I just didn't get a chance to show my true strength. Hagoromo Ishihara next to them ignored their argument and instead analyzed seriously. I think it's feasible. In the battle with the Shimura clan, we suffered almost no losses. If we directly attack the Sarutobi, there won't be any problem. Even if we fail, with the gains from wiping out the Shimura clan, we would still be very profitable. Hearing this, Hagoromo Toro rolled his eyes at him. What nonsense are you talking about? With the young clan head here, we're definitely going to win. This time, Hagoromo Ishihara no longer thought that Hagoromo Toro was blindly trusting the young clan head. Because, after seeing the Shimura clan's territory destroyed by ice release, and Shimura Gensuke's head, Hagoromo Ishihara also became full of confidence in the young clan head. One must know that the young clan head now possesses strength to contend with a clan head level ninja, and the second elder is also clan head level. If they were to go against the Sarutobi clan now, there's no way they would lose. Uncle Masakata, what do you think? Although Hagoromo Masakata would absolutely listen to him, Hagoromo Chicken still asked for his opinion. After all, Hagoromo Masakata was, in any case, the second elder of the Hagoromo clan, and the appropriate respect had to be given. Otherwise, if he were to treat him as invisible, wouldn't the people below follow suit and chaos ensue? Young clan head, I believe it's feasible. Hagoromo Masakata, as expected, agreed to the proposal. And you? Hagoromo Chicken looked at Yuhi Akiharu. This guy was just called to make up the numbers, a way to show respect to the Yuhi clan, so he just symbolically asked him a question. Fortunately, Yuhi Akiharu also recognized his place and simply nodded in agreement. The young clan head is right. Thus, Hagoromo Chicken and the 6 temporarily formed decision-makers immediately decided the Hagoromo clan's next course of action. After breakfast, around 7 in the morning, Hagoromo Chicken ordered an hour's rest, and then at 8 o'clock, they would launch an attack on the Sarutobi clan. Anyway, the ninja of the Hagoromo clan and the Yuhi clan didn't expend much effort when attacking the Shimura clan. The remaining remnants of the Shimura clan were dealt with by the 2 clan allied forces in less than 5 minutes. Therefore, letting everyone rest for an hour was completely fine. The morning sun slowly ascended into the sky. Time's up. Organize the clan members and prepare to depart. Hagoromo Chicken stood up and simultaneously instructed Hagoromo Toro and Hagoromo Ishihara beside him. With the order given, the ninja of the two clans quickly assembled and began to march south towards the Sarutobi clan. Chapter 133 Secret Technique, Super Push Hands. Revisiting an old haunt. Looking at the distant mountain, Ago Yoroiwa couldn't help but sigh with emotion. If he remembered correctly, there were quite a few monkeys in that mountain ahead, used by the Sarutobi clan for vigilance. Hagoi Chicken ignored Ago Yoroiwa's sentimentality. He directly commanded loudly, "Rush through that mountain ahead as fast as possible, eliminate the Sarutobi clan, kill." As soon as he finished speaking, Hagoi Chicken immediately accelerated and charged out, with Hagoi Masakata and the others following closely. There were many monkeys in the mountain, and it was simply unrealistic to try and silently capture and kill all of them. And for the combined forces of the Hagoi clan and the Yuhi clan, with so many people, trying to hide and pass through the monkey's cordon alert line was also impractical. Therefore, the only correct way to attack the Sarutobi clan was to pass through the mountain ahead as quickly as possible, reducing the Sarutobi clan's reaction time. As the ninja vanguard entered the mountain, oh, 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 woo, woo, wow, screech. Suddenly, a chorus of monkey calls echoed through the forest, the sharp, piercing sounds startling all the birds nesting in the woods into flight. However, the allied forces of the Hagoi clan and the Yuhi clan ignored these annoying monkeys and, led by Hagoi Chicken and his 5 companions, swiftly darted towards the Sarutobi clan's territory. Storm Release. Laser Circus. Ice Release. Thousand Killer Flying Feathers. Earth Release. Limestone Bomb. On the path where the Hagoi clan and Yuhi clan were advancing at full speed, the Sarutobi ninja responsible for reconnaissance tried to send a signal to their territory and impede the enemy's progress. However, as soon as they appeared, a barrage of ninjutsu flew directly at them. This squad of Sarutobi ninja couldn't even hold Hagoi Chicken and his group back for a second before they were annihilated by various ninjutsu, leaving no trace. And the signal flares they launched before their deaths were extinguished by Hagoi Chicken's countless ice feathers. Hey, an ant trying to stop a chariot. Hagoi Chicken sneered, and the ninja allied force's speed did not slow down in the slightest. Sarutobi Hodo, who was busy preparing a banquet, frowned and looked in the direction where the birds had flown up. "What happened, Sarutobi clan head?" asked a man with a braid. Sarutobi Hodo said, "Enemies are invading, and it looks like there are quite a few. I'll go take a look." Before he could finish speaking, Sarutobi Hodo disappeared from the room. "Kano, what should we do?" a blonde man asked. The braided man stroked his chin and pondered, "Let's follow him out and see." After he finished speaking, the others nodded, then flashed out of the room and chased in Sarutobi Hodo's direction. As that, the early bird catches the worm. In another courtyard, a man dressed in black scratched his head, looking in the direction where the birds had flown up. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, countless figures rushed out of the forest. Following that, the ninja began to launch an overwhelming barrage of explosive tags towards the Sarutobi clan's territory. As that, defend, defend, damn it, where did these enemies come from? Earth Release. Earth-style wall. The Sarutobi ninja guarding the entrance and the edges of their territory, upon discovering the enemy, immediately shouted warnings and simultaneously formed hand signs to defend. However, how could these few people possibly stop the overwhelming explosive tags? As the kunai rained down like arrows, the explosive tags tied to the tails of the kunai instantly detonated. Boom, boom, boom. These explosions did not diminish the enthusiasm of the Hagoi and Yuhi ninja. They continued to hurl kunai forward, regardless of how intense the explosions were ahead. After all, they had seized so many explosive tags from the Shimura clan that they had no worries about running out of them. However, due to the widespread monkey calls and the birds flying up from the forest, the Sarutobi clan had already been alerted. Therefore, before the third round of explosive tags had even been thrown. Earth Release. Earth Flow Rampart. Boom, boom, boom. A thick earth wall instantly rose, blocking the incoming kunai and explosive tags. Seeing this, Hagoi Chicken waved his hand, ordering a halt to the throwing. With this kind of defense, throwing any more explosive tags would simply be a waste. Their Hagoi clan's explosive tags didn't just appear out of thin air, each one was money, and they couldn't be wasted like this. As the explosions subsided, the earth wall slowly descended. Damn it! Sarutobi Hodo erupted in rage, his clan head level chakra bursting forth, even stirring up dust and leaves on the ground. However, Hagoi Chicken didn't waste words with him. While forming hand signs, he directly commanded, infiltrate the Sarutobi clan's territory, leave no one alive. Shake their eggs until the yolks are broken. Creak. With the hand signs complete, a towering ice fortress directly lifted Hagoi Chicken up. Ice release, Ice Kingdom. His piercing voice traveled far, and then, a large number of ice soldiers charged out from the fortress gates. Kill. Hagoi Chicken's ninjutsu seemed to inject his clansmen with adrenaline. After the ice fortress rose, they charged towards the Sarutobi clan with excited expressions. At this time, the other ninja of the Sarutobi clan also rushed out from their territory. However, because the Sarutobi ninja were arriving in succession, their numbers were temporarily far fewer than those of the Hagoi and Yuhi ninja. For a time, the Sarutobi clan immediately fell into a disadvantage. Earth release. Earth Dragon Bullet Jutsu. Sarutobi Hodo instantly formed hand signs, and an earth dragon head appeared beside him, directly spewing out a large number of earth bullets. Thump, thump, thump. Crack. The ice soldiers hit by the earth bullets instantly cracked and then fell to the ground. However, the fallen ice soldiers still played their part, their shattered bodies transforming into flowing ice, expanding the territory of the Ice Kingdom forward. Soon, with Hagoi Chicken's chakra infusion, a large number of ice soldiers appeared and advanced to the high walls of the Sarutobi clan's territory. And with the advance of the ice soldiers, the dominion of the Ice Kingdom also extended here, and a 2 to 3 centimeter thick layer of ice quickly froze the 4 to 5 meter high clan territory walls. The next second, the ice soldiers at the front simultaneously swung their ice blades. Crack. Cracks appeared in the frozen wall. Bang. Immediately after, the 4 to 5 meter high wall directly exploded, and the shattered debris of the wall, encased in ice crystals, scattered in all directions. Damn it! What in the world is this ninjutsu? And, ice release, is that guy that brat from the Hagoi clan? Seeing the ice soldiers continuously charging out from the distant fortress gates, and the ninja on the ice fortress looking vaguely familiar, Sarutobi Hodo grew even angrier. Damn the Hagoi clan! Have they recovered from the war a few years ago that they've come to retaliate against my Sarutobi clan? Do they really think my Sarutobi clan is easy to provoke? However, just as the enraged Sarutobi Hodo was about to form hand signs to attack Hagoi Chicken, who stood on the ice fortress. Secret technique. Super push. Suddenly, a giant palm appeared from behind Sarutobi Hodo, then quickly pushed towards Hagoi Chicken. Chapter 134 Strange. Rumble. A giant palm came pushing forward. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihin's expression hardened. Immediately, more than a dozen ice soldiers directly blocked it with their shields. In an instant, the ice soldiers' feet connected to the ice surface, as if rooted, firmly resisting the giant palm and bringing it to a halt. Subsequently, a large amount of cold air overflowed from the shields, and a layer of ice instantly formed on the giant palm. Ah, so cold. A deep voice sounded, and then the giant palm shrunk and retreated, leaving behind a hand-shaped hollow ice sculpture in its original spot. Following the voice, 3 adult ninja were seen landing beside Sarutobi Hodo. The one in the middle had a braid and black hair, the man on the left had a stern face and yellow hair, and the man on the right was corpulent with red hair. Clan head Sarutobi. The 3 greeted him. Sarutobi Hodo took a deep breath and nodded. Thank you, 3. You're welcome. Seeing this scene, Hagoromo Chihin continued to control the ice soldiers to attack, while observing the 3 newly appeared individuals opposite him. The appearance of these 3 guys, are they the Inoshikacho clans? Hagoromo Chihin was slightly surprised. What are these 3 guys doing at the Sarutobi clan's compound? Just then, the ice soldiers had already charged into the Sarutobi clan's territory. Many ordinary Sarutobi clan members who hadn't had time to evacuate were instantly cut down by the ice soldiers as if they were chopping melons and vegetables. Hearing the screams of his clansmen, Sarutobi Hodo was instantly enraged. 3 clan heads, follow me. Let's take down that bastard. As soon as he finished speaking, Sarutobi Hodo instantly formed hand signs, summoning Jutsu, Monkey King Enma. Poof tilde. As the white smoke cleared, Sarutobi Hodo instantly held the adamantine staff. Extend. Sarutobi Hodo shouted, and the adamantine staff directly extended for dozens of meters, striking down towards Hagoromo Chihin's head. Storm release. Laser circus. Clang. A huge metallic collision echoed through the sky. Sarutobi Hodo's immense strength combined with the inertia of the blow almost broke Hagoromo Masakata's guard, and his entire right arm trembled from the impact. Secret Jutsu. Human bullet tank. Rumble. A giant meatball directly rolled towards Hagoromo Chihin, accompanied by a black shadow that seemed to come alive, constantly moving forward with the meatball. Earth release. Rock shelter. Magnet release. Iron sand drizzle. Fortunately, the Hagoromo family also had experts. Facing the rolling Akamichi clan head and the winding shadow imitation jutsu, Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara stepped forward without hesitation. Instantly, both sides engaged in full-scale combat. Hagoromo Masakata faced Sarutobi Hodo, and for a time, the two were evenly matched in an exceptionally fierce battle, neither gaining the upper hand. Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara, however, were up against the Inoshika Cho trio, who had mysteriously appeared at the Sarutobi clan's compound. Since the Inoshika Cho trio were all top-tier elite jonin and coordinated exceptionally well with each other, Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara were slightly at a disadvantage from the very first encounter. If it weren't for their strong friendship and frequent teamwork, they might not have been able to withstand such tightly coordinated attacks from the opposition. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihin decided to support the two, first eliminating the Inoshika Cho. Regardless of why the opponents were here, since they appeared on the opposing side, they were enemies. However, just as Hagoromo Chihin was about to jump down from the ice castle wall to help the two. Father. Wood release. Deep forest emergence. Rumble. Countless vines grew wildly from underground, and the ice soldiers who were advancing were immediately stopped by large swaths of vines. This is Senju. Hashirama. Hagoromo Chihin's pupils instantly constricted. How could Hashirama be here? What was going on? However, the situation didn't allow him to ponder. Seeing that he wasn't paying attention, the wildly growing wood vines continuously entangled and destroyed the ice soldiers. Hagoromo Chihin immediately focused his mind and began to control the Ice Kingdom. Under Hagoromo Chihin's serious control, the Ice Kingdom was like two different ninjutsu compared to before, with a completely different level of power. The ice soldiers, who had been retreating steadily just moments ago, were now, under Hagoromo Chihin's control, orderly confronting the wildly growing wood vines. Large numbers of ice soldiers formed pairs, facing the wood vines before them. One of the ice soldiers, holding a shield, directly pushed forward, then spewed out a large amount of cold air from his body, directly freezing the wood vines. The other ice soldier seized the opportunity, wielding an ice blade, and swung it down at the frozen vines. Crack! Instantly, the frozen vines shattered into ice crystals and scattered everywhere. Whoosh! Bang! Crack! Rumble! Outside the Sarutobi clan's territory, the two forces faced each other from north and south. The north instantly transformed into a kingdom of ice and snow, while the south directly became a tropical rainforest. At the junction of the two, wood vines and ice soldiers stood their ground. Here, ice soldiers were whipped by wood vines and shattered into ice blocks, while there, wood vines were frozen and exploded into a sky full of ice crystals. And at this time, the Hagoromo ninja and Yuhi ninja who had previously invaded the Sarutobi clan's territory were also forced to retreat by the deep forest emergence, and the Sarutobi clan's ninja were unable to pursue due to the obstruction of the Ice Kingdom. The main forces of both sides thus stood behind Senju Hashirama and Hagoromo Chihin, staring in awe at the spectacle of the rainforest and ice men attacking each other. This sight is simply unheard of. Can such ninjutsu really be performed by humans? Is this the strength of the Senju family's young clan head? I didn't expect him to look so dull, yet his strength is so formidable. Shish, are you trying to get yourself killed? The Sarutobi ninja standing behind Senju Hashirama looked with great admiration at the black-clothed man in front of them, who had his hands clasped together. Meanwhile, Sarutobi Sasuke and Shimura Itachi, standing beside Senju Hashirama, had complex expressions. This guy, it's hard to imagine, is actually the same age as us. How can his strength be so great? Such ninjutsu, such a massive amount of chakra, even compared to his own father, he probably wouldn't be inferior. Has this guy really not reached the clan head level? How strong would he be after becoming a clan head? And, that guy opposite. He's the Hagoromo family's young clan head, right? Their hearts were filled with resentment. It was one thing for the Senju family's young clan head to be so much stronger than them, but the Hagoromo family's young clan head was also so much stronger than them. Why? Is it just because he possesses a powerful bloodline? This damned bloodline limit is truly unfair to ordinary people. Chapter 135 The Reason for Coming to Sarutobi. Oh my god. Is this the young patriarch's true strength? So powerful tilde. Looking at the ruins of the Shimura clan's territory, I felt the young patriarch's ice release was amazing, but I didn't expect it to be even more astonishing when displayed in person. Around Hagoromo Chicken, watching the spectacular sight of the constant collisions with the wood release on the opposite side, the ninja of the Hagoromo clan and the Yuhi clan couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. Even Hagoromo Masakata and the others, who were currently fighting, couldn't help but glance at the situation here. Of course, for ninja of their strength, even if a sliver of their attention was diverted here, their focus remained on their opponents. They would not give their opponents a chance to defeat them because of this slight distraction. At this moment, Hagoromo Chicken and Senju Hashirama had been fighting for several minutes, but neither the rainforest nor the ice soldiers had gained any ground. However, due to the characteristics of the Ice Kingdom, with the continuous sacrifice of the ice soldiers, the ice layer beneath their feet accumulated tightly at the boundary with the frontline would release. Deep forest emergence, growing thicker and thicker, quickly reaching a height of about half a meter. Damn it! Senju Hashirama's wood release is too outrageous. Seeing that his Ice Kingdom couldn't break through, Hagoromo Chicken couldn't help but curse under his breath, preparing to increase the intensity of his Ice Kingdom's usage. Cage. Suddenly, a deep voice interrupted Hagoromo Chicken's thoughts, and immediately after, the growth rate of the wood release, deep forest emergence slowed down. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chicken stopped the ice soldiers' offensive, and the wood release on the other side also stopped growing at the same time. The next second, a figure in black clothes jumped onto the highest tree. What are you doing, Big Hashirama? Hagoromo Chicken shouted back from the ice castle tower. However, Hagoromo Chicken's shout of, Big Hashirama, instantly made Senju Hashirama, who had just jumped to the treetop, slump, be Big Hashirama. Seeing Senju Hashirama not speaking, Hagoromo Chicken asked in a deep voice, Hashirama, as the young patriarch of the Senju clan, what are you doing running to the Sarutobi clan's territory? Hearing Cage's question, Senju Hashirama immediately recovered. Oh, here is in Sarutobi, the grandson of the Sarutobi clan head, and Danzo Shimura, the grandson of the Shimura clan head, are celebrating their first birthday, and I was specially invited as a representative of the Senju clan. Hagoromo Chicken. Hearing these two familiar names, he was instantly stunned. Have these two old geezers, ah no, these two little brats, already been born? Time passes so quickly. In that case, was Ino Shikacho also at the Sarutobi clan's territory for this reason? This is troublesome. Thinking this, Hagoromo Chicken scanned the battlefield. On his side, there were only Hagoromo Ishihara and Hagoromo Taro, two top elite jonin, while on the opposite side, not only was Ino Shikacho present, but the Sarutobi family's three top elite jonin had also appeared at the forefront of the Sarutobi ninja. The situation was somewhat unfavorable for the Hagoromo clan. Cage, why are you attacking the Sarutobi clan? Senju Hashirama's voice came from the opposite side. Hearing this, Hagoromo Chicken sneered. Hashirama, you should know that a few years ago, the Sarutobi clan, allied with Shimura and your Senju, attacked my Hagoromo clan, causing us heavy losses. Now, I'm here to avenge the Hagoromo clan, is there a problem? This. Senju Hashirama was momentarily speechless, not knowing what to say. Suddenly, kill, a furious shout rang out, and immediately after, the three top elite jonin of the Sarutobi clan charged out directly, with the other Sarutobi ninja following suit. It turned out that because the outskirts of their clan territory had been destroyed, many clan members had sacrificed their lives, and these Sarutobi ninja had long been filled with rage. It was just that earlier, when Hagoromo Chicken and Senju Hashirama were clashing with ice release and wood release, the scope of their ninjutsu was too wide, and they feared being caught in the crossfire, so they didn't act rashly. But now, seeing that the two's ninjutsu had stopped, the Sarutobi ninja could no longer suppress the anger in their hearts and charged out directly. On the Hagoromo side, seeing the enemy attacking, and with their two top elite jonin, Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara, fighting Ino Shikacho, Hagoromo Teruaki and Hagoromo Maifei stepped forward at the critical moment, directly leading their clan members into battle. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chicken quickly formed hand seals, and 3 humanoid ice blocks grew from his body: Ice Release, Ice Clone Jutsu. The ice blocks landed, forming 3 figures identical to Hagoromo Chicken. "I'm counting on you," Hagoromo Chicken instructed his clones with a serious expression. Teruaki and Maifei were only elite Jonin. If they faced the Sarutobi family's 3 top elite Jonin, they would be cut down by the opponents in no time. Therefore, in this situation, he had to act. Fortunately, his ice clones were different from ordinary clones. They had their own thoughts and could use their own ninjutsu. Although the chakra Hagoromo Chicken distributed was not enough for the ice clones to use very powerful ninjutsu, it was not a problem for them to use Ice Leap to tie down the Sarutobi family's 3 top elite Jonin. However, after distributing a portion of his chakra, he would be at a disadvantage when fighting Senju Hashirama. Moreover, Senju Hashirama already had a lot of chakra, so he would be even more disadvantaged going forward. "Hashirama, what do you intend to do next?" After some thought, Hagoromo Chicken decided to talk to Senju Hashirama to see if he could persuade him to withdraw from the battle. After all, in this situation, he really didn't want to fight Senju Hashirama. Facing Hagoromo Chicken's question, Senju Hashirama was silent for a moment, then he looked up with a determined expression. "I'm sorry, Kage, the Sarutobi clan is an ally of my Senju clan, and I cannot stand by and do nothing. If possible, I would rather resolve this dispute through negotiation." Although Senju Hashirama was sometimes a bit naive, he was by no means foolish. If he were to retreat now and stand by, it would definitely be a blow to the Senju clan's reputation. If it got out that the young patriarch of the Senju family watched an ally being attacked, it would be much harder for the Senju clan to form alliances with other ninja clans. His dream of peace, his dream of establishing a ninja village, required the support of the Senju clan's power and for the Senju clan to have more allies. Therefore, at this moment, he absolutely could not back down. Looking at Senju Hashirama, who had already made up his mind to get involved, Hagoromo Chicken felt a bit helpless. He had intended to persuade Senju Hashirama to withdraw, but he didn't expect Senju Hashirama to turn around and try to persuade him to stop and resolve the dispute through negotiation. This was truly a surprise. It really opened his eyes. Chapter 136 Shimura Itachi, Your Father is Dead. On the battlefield, the 2 figures standing on the treetop and the ice castle tower faced each other from afar, neither willing to back down. A moment later, Hagoromo Chicken shouted, "Since neither of us wants to retreat, let's let our strength do the talking." As his voice fell, Hagoromo Chicken instantly unleashed his chakra, and the previously calm ice soldiers immediately became agitated. Seeing this, Senju Hashirama's chakra also surged, and the rainforest, which had been indistinguishable from nature, instantly came alive, clashing violently with the ice soldiers. Rumble. The clash between the ice soldiers and the rainforest was too intense, like the intersection of 2 worlds, with ice crystals exploding and ice blocks flying, creating a huge sound. Standing on the ice castle tower, Hagoromo Chicken slowly closed his eyes. The next second, HMPH. Suddenly, Hagoromo Chicken appeared behind Senju Hashirama, wielding an ice blade and striking out. Crack! Senju Hashirama was decapitated by a single slash, then immediately turned into a wooden carving, and the flying head also became a wooden block. It was a wood clone. Boom! Suddenly, a sharp wooden vine flew directly towards Hagoromo Chicken. Looking closely, Senju Hashirama was standing among the rainforest on the ground, his right palm facing Hagoromo Chicken, controlling the wooden vine to attack. Ding! Hagoromo Chicken slashed at the wooden vine with his blade, and as ice and wood met, the wooden vine began to freeze from its tip. On the other side, on the battlefield, Hagoromo Teruaki and Hagoromo Maifei faced their true opponents, Sarutobi Sasuke and Shimura Shinidachi. This was a clash between the young generation of the Hagoromo clan and the Sarutobi Shimura clan. Of course, the Shimura clan was now a mere shadow of its former self. Wind release. Vacuum sphere. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A dozen air bullets instantly flew towards Hagoromo Teruaki. Hagoromo Teruaki, under attack, immediately reacted. Fire release. 1,000 fireflies flowing fire. Immediately, Hundreds of thumb-sized fireballs gathered together, continuously striking the incoming air bullets. Ding! The sound of metal clashing rang out, and Shimura Shinitachi and Hagoromo Teruaki had already begun their taijutsu confrontation. The two were roughly the same age, and their taijutsu was evenly matched, so neither could gain the upper hand for a while. Seeing this, Hagoromo Teruaki, who wanted to defeat his opponent, subtly curled his lips. I didn't expect you, the remnant of the Shimura clan, to be quite strong. Indeed, after realizing that his strength was not much different from Shimura Shinitachi's, Hagoromo Teruaki began to launch a verbal offensive. These seemingly complimentary words towards Shimura Shinitachi were in fact insidious. Sure enough, Shimura Shinitachi couldn't help but frown upon hearing this. What do you mean? Hagoromo Teruaki, while swinging his katana, grinned and said, "Oh, I forgot, you don't know yet, do you? Your Shimura clan was annihilated, and your father's head was cut off by our young clan leader." However, these words did not affect Shimura Shinitachi. He merely sneered, "Hey, do you think such a crude lie can affect me, you idiot?" After speaking, Shimura Shinitachi's sword-wielding speed actually increased. Hagoromo Teruaki, what the hell? I'm telling the truth, why don't you believe me? Is telling the truth so unpopular these days? And you call me an idiot, you're the idiot, your whole family are idiots. However, Shimura Shinitachi's words did not deter Hagoromo Teruaki from trying to disrupt his opponent with words. He continued to shout at Shimura Shinitachi, "Hey! Your father is dead. Go to hell. Your father really died. He was beaten to a bloody pulp by our young clan leader, completely unrecognizable. Ah, I'll kill you. I'm serious, your father's head was cut off, and it's with our second elder." Right now, unable to bear it any longer, Shimura Shinitachi forced Hagoromo Teruaki back with a slash, formed hand seals, and directly unleashed a wind blade from his mouth. Wind release, vacuum wave. You unfilial son. If your father knew that you weren't sad at all after his death, he'd surely slap you silly. After dodging with a body flicker, Hagoromo Teruaki continued to verbally attack Shimura Shinitachi. At this time, the battle between Hagoromo Teruaki and Shimura Shinitachi was evenly matched, but the battle between Hagoromo Maifei and Sarutobi Sasuke was not so pleasant. Perhaps due to his exceptional talent, Sarutobi Sasuke's taijutsu was remarkably strong. Hagoromo Maifei's strength was almost the same as Hagoromo Teruaki's, but facing Sarutobi Sasuke, Hagoromo Maifei actually fell into a disadvantage. Sarutobi Sasuke wielded a stone staff, swinging it with a whooshing sound that continuously ripped through the air. Hagoromo Maifei used his katana to block, but Sarutobi Sasuke's strength was too great. In their taijutsu clash, Hagoromo Maifei immediately suffered a considerable disadvantage. No, I can't let this continue. Hagoromo Maifei thought to himself. Then, he swung his katana, clashing with Sarutobi Sasuke's stone staff, and used the force to retreat. Water release. Water Dragon Bullet Jutsu. As Hagoromo Maifei retreated, a water dragon directly charged towards Sarutobi Sasuke. Seeing this, Sarutobi Sasuke planted his stone staff on the ground. Earth release, Earth Dragon Bullet Jutsu. Earth Dragon Bullet Jutsu generally has two forms, one where an earth dragon's head emerges from the ground, continuously firing earth bullets at the enemy, and another where an earth dragon is created to directly attack the opponent. At this moment, Sarutobi Sasuke created an earth dragon, which clashed directly with Hagoromo Maifei's water dragon bullet. In an instant, the earth dragon collided with the water dragon. Due to the elemental advantage, the Earth Dragon directly broke through the Water Dragon and charged towards Hagoromo Maifei. Damn it! Hagoromo Maifei's expression changed, and he quickly used Body Flicker to dodge. Rumble! The Earth Dragon crashed into the ground, stirring up a large amount of dust. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Sarutobi Sasuke charged forward again, wielding his stone staff. He had already realized that his taijutsu was stronger than his opponent's, so he naturally intended to use his strengths to attack his opponent's weaknesses. Buzz! Sarutobi Sasuke swung his staff, producing a sound that cut through the air. Hagoromo Maifei on the opposite side seemed to not react, and the stone staff directly struck him on the forehead. Splash! Hagoromo Maifei transformed into water and flowed onto the ground. Fire release! Blazing Eagle Kill! A large eagle made of flames instantly attacked Sarutobi Sasuke from behind. The moment Hagoromo Maifei's expression became blank, Sarutobi Sasuke sensed that something was wrong. Thus, after Hagoromo Maifei turned into water, he instantly turned around alertly. Fire release, great flame bullet. Instantly, a fireball directly clashed with the fiery eagle. Hagoromo Maifei and Sarutobi Sasuke continuously spewed flames from their mouths, providing continuous firepower for Blazing Eagle Kill and Great Flame Bullet, and the two flames of different forms continuously collided, bombarded, and burned. Slowly, the slightly stronger Sarutobi Sasuke began to gain the upper hand, and the Great Flame Bullet slowly pressed towards Hagoromo Maifei. From this, it can also be seen that Sarutobi Sasuke was definitely among the most talented individuals of his generation, besides Hagoromo Chicken, Uchiha Madara, and Senju Hashirama. In the Four Clans War a few years ago, Hagoromo Teruaki suffered a loss at Sarutobi Sasuke's hands, and now, Hagoromo Maifei was suppressed by Sarutobi Sasuke. His talent and strength were evident. Chapter 137, Chunchin is restrained. Boom! A massive fireball, carrying scorching heat, directly bore down on Hagoromo Maifei. Damn it! How is this guy so strong? Hagoromo Maifei cursed under his breath as he quickly rolled to evade the oncoming fireball. However, just as he dodged the fireball, earth release, rock raising collapse. Crack! Suddenly, the ground beneath his feet shook. Before Hagoromo Maifei could react, he was directly propelled diagonally upwards by a large section of ground rising from below him. Earth release, rock stealing rod. A fierce roar came from above his head. Sarutobi Sasuke, holding a rock rod, struck downwards with full force, aiming directly at Hagoromo Maifei. With his body continuously rising and the menacing rock rod descending from above, Hagoromo Maifei's pupils instantly constricted. The scent of death surged into his heart. In a daze, the immense pressure seemed to cause some kind of change in the chakra within his body. The next moment, his pupils narrowed. Water release, water wall. Splash! A water wall instantly appeared above Hagoromo Maifei's head. However, compared to a normal water wall, Hagoromo Maifei's water wall appeared to have a slightly dark red hue. Ha! Sarutobi Sasuke swung his rock rod down with full power, striking the water wall. However, his attack, which he had expected to break through the water wall and smash Hagoromo Maifei's head, was blocked by the water wall. At the same time, the part of the rock rod that touched the water wall began to sizzle and emit black smoke. Very quickly, the front half of the rock rod was completely corroded away. What? Sarutobi Sasuke's eyes instantly widened. He then quickly retreated, avoiding being attacked by the corrosive water release. Phew! Seeing Sarutobi Sasuke retreat, Hagoromo Maifei breathed a sigh of relief. Just now, Sarutobi Sasuke had been menacingly swinging the rock rod at his head, and he thought he was done for. But he never expected that under increased pressure, he would awaken a bloodline limit. Truly, his ancestors blessed him. Water with corrosive properties, huh? I wonder if any ancestors in my clan awakened the same bloodline limit. For now, I'll call it corrosive release. Saying this, Hagoromo Maifei looked at Sarutobi Sasuke opposite him. If it were before, he knew very well that he was not Sarutobi Sasuke's opponent. But now that he had awakened a bloodline limit, he was going to spar with Sarutobi Sasuke again. He wanted to see just how strong a young clan head of a second-rate ninja clan, who didn't even have a bloodline limit, could truly be. Corrosive release. Corrosive barrage. Hagoromo Maifei formed hand signs, and several translucent, dark red water orbs flew directly towards Sarutobi Sasuke. He hadn't learned any ninjutsu related to this bloodline limit, but corrosive water had similarities to ordinary water release ninjutsu. As long as he channeled water release ninjutsu with corrosive release chakra and made slight adjustments, it would essentially work. Facing the strangely colored water bullets flying towards him, Sarutobi Sasuke dared not be careless in the slightest. Earth release, earth-style wall. Rumble. An earth wall rose, blocking Sarutobi Sasuke. Immediately after, the corrosive water orbs instantly smashed several craters into the earth wall. The splashing water corroded the earth wall, making sizzling sounds, and black smoke continuously rose. This is Sarutobi Sasuke, hiding behind the earth wall, looked at the black spots appearing on the earth-style wall and his expression gradually became serious. Damn bloodline ninja, what a pain. At this point, he understood perfectly well that this was a bloodline ninjutsu. After all, ordinary water release ninjutsu didn't have such powerful corrosive abilities. Just a few water orbs nearly broke through the defense of the earth-style wall. Facing such terrifying ninjutsu, he had to be extremely vigilant. Corrosive release. Corrosive feathered arrows. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Suddenly, over a dozen feathered arrows fell directly from above. Seeing this, Sarutobi Sasuke quickly used the body flicker technique to dodge, while continuously pondering. Logically speaking, for water release, earth release would be the most suitable counter. However, while the opponent's bloodline limit looked like water release, its corrosiveness was extremely strong. Earth release wouldn't gain any advantage at all. As for fire release, it was naturally countered by water release, and he wasn't proficient in lightning release. So, I can only try attacking with wind release or taijutsu. Sarutobi Sasuke couldn't help but frown. The opponent's bloodline limit looked very troublesome. If he got hit up close, he wouldn't die but would at least lose a layer of skin. Now, it seemed more appropriate to try probing with wind release first. With that thought, Sarutobi Sasuke immediately formed hand signs, wind release, wind shrapnel. In an instant, over a dozen fist-sized wind orbs almost simultaneously struck towards Hagoromo Maifei. Corrosive release. Water corrosive wall. Puff puff puff. The wind orbs shot into the water wall and were instantly swallowed by the water flow. At the same time, the dark red color within the water wall deepened a few shades. Seeing that the wind shrapnel attack had no effect, Sarutobi Sasuke instantly had a bad feeling. However, not believing his eyes, he formed hand signs again and used ninjutsu, wind release, violent wind shuriken. Swish swish swish. Instantly, 3 air shuriken, nearly a meter wide, flew out directly. Seeing this, the cautious Hagoromo Maifei increased his chakra output, making the water flow wall even thicker. Puff puff puff. The air shuriken crashed into the water wall, causing 3 sharp shapes to protrude from the other side of the water wall. However, these protrusions didn't last even a second before the 3 air shuriken disappeared, and with the disappearance of the air shuriken, the dark red color of the water wall in front of Hagoromo Maifei deepened considerably. Feeling the changes in the water wall, Hagoromo Maifei understood somewhat, so that's it. Corrosive release, formed by the combination of water and fire, 2 naturally opposing chakra natures, can have its corrosiveness further enhanced with the boost of wind release. As his voice fell, Hagoromo Maifei's eyes narrowed, and he formed hand signs again, corrosive release, corrosive herring. Instantly, the dark red-tinted water wall transformed into several large fish, rapidly flying towards Sarutobi Sasuke. Earth release. Earth-style fortification. A wall like a stone rampart rose. However, the even more corrosive flying fish directly crashed into the wall. In just 2 or 3 seconds, the wall was corroded and pierced through. Sizzle sizzle. After penetrating the stone wall, the flying fish, having lost their target, fell to the ground, corroding a large pit in the earth. Black smoke rose from the pit, as if lava had dripped there. At this moment, Sarutobi Sasuke, who was hiding underground using earth release, had a darkened face. Damn it, wind release is countered, earth release is countered, fire release is also countered, water release is probably useless, and I'm not proficient in lightning release. How am I supposed to fight now? Damn bloodline ninja. Why is heaven so unfair? Chapter 138, Photopolymerization reappears. Bang! A crisp sound rang out, and the frozen wooden vine instantly turned into a sky full of ice crystals. Rasengan. Hagoromo Chihin suddenly appeared behind Senju Hashirama, his hand not hesitating at all, grabbing the Rasengan and pressing it towards Senju Hashirama's head. Wood release. Wood golem wall. Thud. The Rasengan pressed against the wood golem wall, and the high-speed spinning chakra current frictioned against the wooden wall, sending wood chips flying everywhere. If it were ordinary wood, it would have been instantly pierced by the Rasengan, but with Senju Hashirama's chakra supporting it, the Rasengan only managed to press in 2 or 3 centimeters after 2 or 3 seconds against the wood golem wall. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihin had no choice but to retract the Rasengan and retreat. This turtle shell is really hard. Saying that, Hagoromo Chihin looked up at the sky. The weather was nice today. Although it wasn't yet noon, the sun was still making people feel a bit hot. In that case, Hagoromo Chihin's eyes narrowed slightly, and he instantly formed hand signs. An ice lens directly condensed in the sky above. Ice release. Light energy convergence. A ninjutsu that had been developed but never used was now unleashed by Hagoromo Chihin. In an instant, Senju Hashirama's wood golem wall was directly enveloped by a beam of light. Senju Hashirama, who was originally about to dispel the wood golem wall, suddenly felt an extremely strong sense of crisis, so he quickly abandoned the idea of dispelling the wood golem wall and reinforced it instead. The next second, under Hagoromo Chihin's control, the ice lens in the sky began to adjust, and the beam of light enveloping the wood golem wall became thinner and thinner. Boom! At a certain moment when the beam of light shrunk, the wood golem wall's endurance reached its critical point. The uppermost part suddenly ignited, and the fire began to spread to other areas at an extremely fast rate. Immediately after, the very top of the wood golem wall was suddenly pierced by the beam of light, and the scorched hole radiated a fiery red glow around its edges. Did he escape? The imagined screams did not come. Soon, the entire wood golem wall turned into a pile of ashes under the attack of light energy convergence. And where the ashes lay, naturally, nothing was left. Whoosh! Suddenly, a wooden vine shot out from under Hagoromo Chihin's feet. Its speed was more than twice as fast as before. Hagoromo Chihin, who was somewhat slow to react, was immediately entangled by the wooden vine around his ankle. Seeing this, he quickly channeled chakra and froze the vine on his ankle with ice release. Crack! Hagoromo Chihin exerted force, and the frozen wooden vine instantly shattered. Damn it! Feeling the chakra within him, Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but curse internally. I wasn't even entangled for a second, and a tenth of my chakra was sucked away. How ridiculous is that? Lone Shadow's reaction is really fast. Senju Hashirama, standing under a large tree, couldn't help but sigh. At this moment, Hagoromo Chihin also discovered Senju Hashirama's whereabouts. With a thought, the ice lens in the air began to constantly adjust. Under the cloudless sky, a light beam as thick as an arm slowly began to move towards Senju Hashirama, and its speed became faster and faster. When it passed through the rainforest created by wood release along the way, the tree trunks were directly cut open by the light beam, splitting them in two. At the broken ends of the wood, the burning areas emitted a fiery red, scorching aura. Not good. If I get hit by this ninjutsu, it'll be over. Watching the light beam approaching him, Senju Hashirama's expression instantly tensed, and then he quickly used the body flicker technique to dodge. However, when Senju Hashirama noticed that the light beam's pursuit speed was getting faster and faster, he immediately changed direction and ran towards Hagoromo Chihin. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihin's expression instantly stiffened. Damn it! Don't run towards me. Then where should I run? Senju Hashirama retorted with a blank look, but his hands were not slow, and he directly threw a punch at Hagoromo Chihin. Bang 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 bang. Soon, the two began to fight with fists and kicks, and the immense power even produced muffled thuds. And the light energy convergence in the sky also stopped because of this. After all, if he continued to attack Senju Hashirama, with the two of them so close, Hagoromo Chihin could easily be affected. Damn, why is this big pillar so troublesome? Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but secretly complain in his heart. He tried several times to get rid of Senju Hashirama and let light energy convergence launch another attack, but the other party was like sticky candy, clinging to him relentlessly, and he couldn't break free. But a powerful attack like light energy convergence couldn't just be left unused. Thinking this, Hagoromo Chihin's peripheral vision began to search for a new direction of attack. Suddenly, he found a very good target. Hee. With such a big target right there, it would be inexcusable if I didn't make a move. Hagoromo Chihin's lips curled slightly upwards, and then the ice lens in the sky quickly changed direction. Boom! Accompanied by the burning of the rainforest, the light beam quickly plowed towards the Sarutobi clan land. Ah, no, damn it, this is... Suddenly, screams rising and falling echoed directly from the Sarutobi clan land. Looking down from the sky, one could see that everyone who was illuminated by the light beam spontaneously combusted. Even more, some were directly shot through the body by the light beam, lying on the ground and wailing incessantly. If the temperature of the light beam wasn't insufficient to penetrate bones, these guys might not even have kept their skulls intact. Light energy convergence could have directly opened a hole in the top of their heads. This is. Looking at the direction of the light energy convergence attack, Senju Hashirama's expression instantly became solemn. Lone Shadow, stop quickly. Hearing Senju Hashirama's shout, Hagoromo Chihin looked at him with both eyes. You want me to stop? Hehe, if I stop, how can I explain it to all those clan members who died a few years ago? Do you know how many clan members of my Hagoromo clan died in that war a few years ago? Speaking of this, Hagoromo Chihin paused for a moment, then continued in a cold tone. I don't have the right to forgive them on behalf of those who died. All I can do is send them down, and let the deceased clan members forgive them personally. After speaking, Hagoromo Chihin extended his right hand, Great Ball Rasengan. Boom, wood chips flew, and Senju Hashirama appeared in the distance. There's no other way. Chapter 139, Fight Between Dragon and Tiger. Senju Hashirama muttered softly, and the next second, his eyes sharpened. He quickly formed hand signs. Wood release, wood dragon jutsu. As his solemn voice fell, the rainforest created by the deep forest emergence earlier, with its intertwining wooden vines, began to transform. In just 2 or 3 seconds, a wood dragon soared into the sky. Senju Hashirama stood sternly at the head of the dragon, controlling the wood dragon as it flew into the air. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihana quickly redirected the concentrated light energy, intending to attack Senju Hashirama. However, as soon as the concentrated light energy was redirected, focusing its beam on the wood dragon. Crack! With a shattering sound, the concentrated light energy only managed to scorch an opening in the wood dragon. Before it could attack Senju Hashirama himself, it was forcibly shattered by the wood dragon. Cage. Having succeeded with one move, and to prevent Hagoromo Chihana from using concentrated light energy again, Senju Hashirama roared and directly commanded the wood dragon to dive towards Hagoromo Chihana. Rumble. Hagoromo Chihana used Ice Leap to evade. The wood dragon crashed into the ground, emitting a deafening roar, and a large amount of dust flew up. On the other side, looking at the enormous wood dragon, a strange expression of excitement appeared on Hagoromo Chihana's face. Ha 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 ha. Come on, ice release. White tiger descends. In an instant, a large amount of ice surged and accumulated beneath Hagoromo Chihana's feet, and his body began to rise continuously. Slowly, a massive ice tiger took shape. Roar. The moment the ice tiger formed, its 4 claws stomped the ground, its eyes glowed with a ghostly blue light, and its back wings flapped. Its entire body immediately soared into the air, facing the wood dragon from afar. Oh, Senju Hashirama, standing on the dragon's head, looked at the ice tiger opposite him with surprise. Cage, that ninjutsu of yours looks pretty good. Hagoromo Chihana smiled without speaking, but he grumbled inwardly. Of course, this move of mine was developed specifically to counter your wood dragon jutsu. How could it be bad? Seeing that Hagoromo Chihana didn't respond, Senju Hashirama's expression gradually became serious. In that case, I'm coming. As his words fell, Senju Hashirama controlled the massive wood dragon, sending it flying through the air towards the ice tiger. Facing the oncoming wood dragon, Hagoromo Chihana showed no weakness. The ice tiger flapped its wings and met it head-on. Boom! The 2 enormous bodies collided, and a muffled thunder-like sound echoed in the air, reverberating across the entire land. That is. It's like 2 monsters. The ninja on the battlefield heard the commotion in the sky and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. However, they soon resumed their battles, wielding their weapons. The ninja of the 3 clans slaughtered each other, using every means at their disposal to kill their opponents. As a result, almost none of the bodies on the battlefield were intact. Whether it was the Hagoromo clan, the Uchiha clan, or the Sarutobi clan, any body lying on the ground was incomplete. The lightest injuries were several stab wounds to the body, while more severe ones, like those hit by explosive tags, had limbs blown off, their whereabouts unknown. In midair, the wood dragon and the ice tiger engaged in a beast-like struggle. The ice tiger raised its paw and swiped at the wood dragon's head, while the wood dragon tilted its head, its body moving like a snake, coiling around the ice tiger's body. Bang! The ice tiger swung its tail, striking the wood dragon's body directly. With this blow, a nearly half-meter wide gash immediately appeared on the wood dragon's body, and both ends of the gash plummeted downwards. Facing this situation, Senju Hashirama remained calm. As Senju Hashirama's chakra flowed, the gash on the Wood Dragon's body instantly repaired itself. At the same time, it continued to coil around the Ice Tiger, and its 4 massive, chicken claw-shaped dragon claws also grabbed at the Ice Tiger's body. Whoosh! The Ice Tiger flapped its wings, soared into the air, and dodged the Wood Dragon's coils. Senju Hashirama saw this, stood on the dragon's head, and shot straight up to pursue it. Leaving aside the battle of the 2 monsters in the sky. On the ground, the battle of top-tier elite Jonin. Suddenly, a flash of frost, and 3 figures appeared almost simultaneously beside a top-tier elite Jonin of the Sarutobi clan. Rasengan. X3. The top-tier elite Jonin of the Sarutobi clan had anticipated that Hagoromo Chihana would suddenly appear or disappear, so he had always been on guard. But he hadn't expected that he had been fighting one, Hagoromo Chihana, before, and now 3 had suddenly appeared. The next moment, the Sarutobi ninja swung his sword at the Hagoromo Chihana clone in front of him. Clang! The blade collided with the Rasengan, producing a harsh grinding sound. Almost simultaneously, 2 ice clones descended from behind and above, pressing their Rasengan firmly onto the Sarutobi ninja's body. Crack tilde. The sound of bones breaking echoed. The Sarutobi ninja's spine was directly shattered, and his head burst open like a watermelon, splattering a large amount of red and white. The ice clones, of course, wouldn't let such filth splash onto themselves, so after succeeding, they immediately chose to flash away and dodge. Since they were all Hagoromo Chihana's clones, they didn't need much communication, they could directly understand the thoughts of the other 2. So, after eliminating one top-tier elite Jonin of the Sarutobi clan, they activated Ice Leap again, appearing beside another top-tier elite Jonin of the Sarutobi clan. Ice Release. Cold Moon Frost Flower. Wind Release. Wind God's Sword. Rasengan. Facing the already wary Sarutobi ninja, the 3 ice clones chose to cooperate. In an instant, the cold air of Cold Moon Frost Flower directly stiffened the Sarutobi ninja's body, and the Rasengan and Wind God's Sword instantly struck his body. HMPH. The Sarutobi ninja's mouth slightly opened, and his body weakly fell to the ground. Immediately after, the 3 repeated the process. A flash of frost. Ice Release. Cold Moon Frost Flower. Wind Release. Wind God's Sword. Great Ball Rasengan. To ensure a successful hit, one of the ice clones directly used the Great Ball Rasengan. No surprise occurred. The 3rd top-tier elite Jonin of the Sarutobi clan was directly pressed into the ground by the giant Rasengan, dying without a sound. With 3 enemies eliminated, 2 of the ice clones ran out of chakra, gradually became expressionless, and turned into ice, flowing to the ground. Only the ice clone that used Wind God's Sword, which consumed less chakra, remained. At this time, under the seamless cooperation of Ino Shikacho, Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara both suffered more or less some injuries, while the opposing Ino Shikacho were completely unscathed. However, this was not surprising. After all 5 of them were top-tier elite Jonin in strength, with little difference between them, and the cooperation of Ino Shikacho was renowned throughout the Land of Fire. Therefore, it was already quite impressive that Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara could withstand the trio's attacks for so long. This generation's Ino Shikacho is more than just 1 level stronger than the Ino Shikacho after Konoha was established. Looking at the Ino Shikacho's seamless cooperation and powerful strength, the ice clone couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Chapter 140. You Fat Pig. In the ninja world, if you stretch out the timeline, it's easy to discover one thing. That is, as time progresses, the power of the ninja has generally declined. The most obvious example is that, in the original story, during the 4th Great Ninja War, the previous Kage who were brought back by Edo Tensei generally had a higher level of power than the current 5 Kage. Take the 3rd Reikage as an example, he was a human-shaped beast. And the 2nd Mizukage, Hazuka Genjutsu, that mustache-wearing man without eyebrows, fought as if it were a joke, yet he used this playful behavior to make a group of ninja spin in circles. Later on, a guy with Chojiro's level of power even became Mizukage, which is simply a disgrace to the 5 Kage. Therefore, in the Sengoku period, on this battlefield, the Ino Shikacho's power being stronger and their coordination better than the Ino Shikacho of later Konoha doesn't seem like such an unimaginable thing. Human Bullet Tank. Shadow Imitation Jutsu. Mind Transfer Jutsu. Suddenly, the Ino Shikacho trio executed a nearly perfect combination. Akamichi Kenji suddenly used a human bullet tank to roll and charge, splitting the battlefield, forcing Hagoromo Truo and Hagoromo Ishihara to separate. Immediately after, Nara Shikano reacted quickly, and two shadows from his shadow imitation jutsu swiftly shot out, controlling both of them. Then, Yamanaka Bohiko directly formed hand signs, and the unlucky Hagoromo Truo, chosen by Ino Shikacho, was instantly controlled by Yamanaka Bohiko's mind. Kenji, Nara Shikano shouted, and Akamichi Kenji immediately understood Nara Shikano's meaning. Partial multi-size jutsu. Hand. Suddenly, Akamichi Kenji's palm rapidly swelled, and a giant palm, like a house, directly slammed down towards Hagoromo Truo. It's over. Seeing this scene, Hagoromo Ishihara was instantly shocked. Such a huge palm, also enveloped in chakra, if he were hit, Truo would be severely injured even if he didn't die. The next second, boom, the giant palm landed, raising clouds of dust. Akamichi Kenji felt a surge of surprise and doubt, because he didn't feel like he had hit a person. At the same time, a flash of frost, and the ice clone directly appeared beside Hagoromo Ishihara with Hagoromo Truo, and released Yin Release, using its power to dispel the shadow imitation jutsu and mind transfer jutsu. HMPH. Yamanaka Bohiko snorted coldly, opening his eyes, while Nara Shikano beside him also swayed slightly. At this moment, Akamichi Kenji also returned to their side. What happened? Yamanaka Bohiko's expression was grim. I don't know what happened, but I felt a very cold chakra in Hagoromo Truo's body, and then I was forced out of his body by that chakra. Moreover, I can feel that if I hadn't retreated just now, something extremely terrifying might have happened. Nara Shikano beside him nodded. Exactly, it was the same for me. My shadow suddenly retreated uncontrollably. And the reason for all of this should be inseparable from the new figure that appeared beside them. As he spoke, Nara Shikano's gaze fell on the ice clone, and Akamichi Kenji also followed Nara Shikano's gaze, looking across, only to see a young figure standing beside Hagoromo Truo and Hagoromo Ishihara. Seeing this scene, Akamichi Kenji's small eyes couldn't help but contract, then he looked up at the sky. Although he couldn't see very clearly, he could vaguely make out a figure standing on top of the ice tiger, fighting fiercely with Senju Hashirama's wood dragon. How could this be? Isn't that guy fighting the Senju clan's young patriarch? How could he suddenly appear here? Are they twins? Akamichi Kenji's voice was full of confusion. Unlike Akamichi Kenji, who hadn't paid attention to the battlefield situation, although their battle was somewhat far from where Hagoromo Chihin and Senju Hashirama initially were, Nara Shikano still noticed that the guy opposite had emerged from Hagoromo Chihin's body. It's a clone jutsu, and it's an actual physical clone jutsu with independent thoughts, something never seen before in the ninja world. It's truly unimaginable how this was achieved. Although his face was calm and composed, Nara Shikano's eyes still held a look of shock. What do we do now, Shikano? Akamichi Kenji habitually asked Nara Shikano for his opinion. Nara Shikano stroked the beard on his chin and said, originally, after we won here, we could have gone to help the Sarutobi clan head, but the newly appeared clone, not to mention his power, just his abilities are very strange. He can unilaterally expel Bohiko's mind transfer jutsu, as well as my shadow imitation jutsu. Therefore, it will be difficult for us to determine a winner here for now. We can only see if the Sarutobi clan head and the Senju young patriarch can gain an advantage first. Hearing this, Akamichi Kenji and Yamanaka Bohiko both nodded in agreement. After all, Nara Shikano's decisions had never been wrong, so they naturally trusted Nara Shikano very much. On the other side, thank you, young patriarch. Hagoromo Truo wiped the cold sweat from his forehead with his hand, and at the same time, expressed his gratitude. After he was restrained by Nara Shikano's shadow just now, Yamanaka Bohiko's soul immediately invaded him. And he himself could only watch helplessly, powerless. If the young patriarch hadn't appeared in time, he might have already been flattened into a meat patty by that fat pig. The ice clone waved his hand. No need, I'm just a clone. Hagoromo Truo smiled and said, it's the same, it's the same. They knew how different this clone was. It had its own independent thoughts and could fight independently for a long time. This kind of clone was simply abnormal. Presumably, only an abnormal person like the young patriarch could develop such an abnormal ninjutsu. At this moment, the ice clone didn't know Hagoromo Truo's inner thoughts, otherwise, if he had known, he would have cursed back. You're the abnormal one, your whole family is abnormal. Uncle Truo, Uncle Ishihara, in the upcoming battle, I can only play a supporting role and cannot use any powerful ninjutsu, so you two will have to take the lead in the attack. The ice clone said with a serious expression. The two nodded. Understood. As soon as his voice fell, the two once again charged towards Ino Shikacho. Hagoromo Truo, who had almost capsized in a ditch earlier, spoke with an even more irritable tone. You fat pig, die for me. Ah, I'm muscular. Hearing this, Akamichi Kenji's small eyes seemed to burn with raging flames. Secret jutsu, spiked human bullet tank. Slowly, time passed, and the sun soon rose directly overhead. At this time, with the support of the Ice Country's ice ninja soldiers, the Hagoromo clan and the Yuhi clan gained some advantage, but if they wanted to completely determine the winner, it couldn't be done in a short time. Unless one side could free up a high-level combatant to join the battlefield, otherwise, this war would probably still take a few hours to yield a result. Chapter 141 Explosive Giant Spear. In the sky, the battle between the Wood Dragon and the Ice Tiger continued. They tore and attacked each other's bodies with their sharp fangs and claws, like wild beasts. Hagoromo Chihana stood on the Ice Tiger's head, fighting Senju Hashirama while constantly paying attention to the battlefield on the ground. At this moment, the ice clone that had been helping Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara in their fight had disappeared due to chakra depletion, and the battle of Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara once again became disadvantageous. Among them, Hagoromo Taro was frequently targeted by Akamichi Kenji because he cursed Akamichi Kenji as a fat pig, and his right arm was fractured due to a battle error. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihana couldn't help but murmur in his heart, if this continues, the situation is not good. Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara were clearly no match for Ino Shikacho. Previously, with the help of his ice clone, they had an advantage, but now that the ice clone had disappeared, they were back at a disadvantage. If this continued for a long time, the defeat of Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara was inevitable. But he couldn't send out another ice clone to help. After all, Senju Hashirama was known for his large chakra reserves, and he had already sent out 3 ice clones before, consuming a lot of chakra. If he wasted chakra to help now, he might not be a match for Senju Hashirama, and once he was defeated and Senju Hashirama was freed, the Hagoromo clan could directly declare defeat. Thinking of this, Hagoromo Chihana gradually made a decision in his heart. In midair, Hagoromo Chihana controlled the ice tiger to suddenly exert force, forcing back the opposing wood dragon, and then flapped its wings and flew down the battlefield. Hagoromo clan and Yuhi clan, retreat. Boom! The ice tiger's massive body landed in the center of the battlefield, making a huge sound and shaking the ground. In the current situation, with Senju Hashirama and the Ino Shikacho assisting the Sarutobi clan, the Hagoromo clan had no chance of winning. In fact, if the war continued, the Hagoromo clan's losses might even exceed those of the Sarutobi clan. After all, Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara were no match for Ino Shikacho. Once they were defeated, and the freed Ino Shikacho joined the battlefield, without anyone to counterbalance them, the Hagoromo clan's casualties would increase at an extremely fast rate. Upon hearing the young clan leader's command, the Hagoromo clan and Yuhi clan began to retreat in an orderly fashion towards Hagoromo Chihana, while Senju Hashirama also controlled the wood dragon to give chase. Hashirama, I plan to retreat. What do you say? Hagoromo Chihana narrowed his eyes, smiling as he looked at Senju Hashirama and asked. Hearing this, Senju Hashirama was at a loss for a moment, and could only stand on the wood dragon's head, silent. Ultimately, he was the young clan leader of the Senju clan, not the clan leader of the Sarutobi clan. This was a war between the Hagoromo clan and the Sarutobi clan. Whether to fight or to make peace, and whether to pursue, depended on the Sarutobi clan leader's decision. On the battlefield, most of the Hagoromo ninja and Yuhi ninja were retreating, with only a few still fighting the enemy. These included Hagoromo Taro and Hagoromo Ishihara, as well as Hagoromo Shoiwa and Hagoromo Maifei, and several other elite jonin. After such a long battle, Hagoromo Shoiwa had already gained an advantage. Relying on the Hagoromo clan's special physique, which allowed them to use 5-release ninjutsu with less chakra consumption than ordinary ninja, Hagoromo Shoiwa directly engaged in a battle of attrition with Shimura Meino. By now, Shimura Meino was already panting from Hagoromo Shoiwa's attrition, and it was foreseeable that if the battle continued, victory would surely belong to Hagoromo Shoiwa. On the other side, Sarutobi Sasuke's situation was even worse than Shimura Meino's. After Hagoromo Maifei awakened her bloodline limit, he, who had originally held the advantage, was directly and thoroughly suppressed by Hagoromo Maifei. Sarutobi Sasuke was best at wind, fire, water, and earth release ninjutsu, but all 4 of these ninjutsu were countered by Hagoromo Maifei's corrosion release. As for taijutsu, because Hagoromo Maifei's bloodline limit had strong corrosive properties, he did not dare to approach her easily. As a result, Sarutobi Sasuke, who had originally been dominating Hagoromo Maifei, was now completely countered and on the verge of tears. Corrosion release. Splatter. Suddenly, Hagoromo Maifei, who had not approached for a long time, instantly appeared not far from Sarutobi Sasuke, and a cluster of dark red mist flew directly towards Sarutobi Sasuke's head. What? Sarutobi Sasuke's eyes instantly widened, and after reacting, he quickly dodged. Ah! A scream came out, and Sarutobi Sasuke, who had dodged, had his right shoulder and right cheek instantly corroded as if splashed with sulfuric acid, becoming rotten. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Hagoromo Maifei lunged forward again to attack, but unexpectedly, Sarutobi Sasuke endured the pain and used earth release ninjutsu to burrow into the ground. TCH, compared to your current pathetic state, I still prefer your arrogant attitude from the beginning. Hagoromo Maifei pouted and began to retreat towards Hagoromo Chihana. Because the Hagoromo clan and Yuhi clan had almost completely retreated, if she continued to entangle, she would easily fall into the encirclement of the Sarutobi clan. At this time, on the north side of the battlefield, as the Hagoromo clan retreated, Hagoromo Chihana also continuously used Ice Kingdom to intercept the pursuing Sarutobi clan. Under the obstruction of the ice soldiers, the Sarutobi ninja found it difficult to advance further after reaching this point, and could only engage in battle with the fearless ice soldiers. Facing this situation, Senju Hashirama also found it difficult to use deep forest emergence to counter Hagoromo Chihana's Ice Kingdom. After all, if he used deep forest emergence to clash with Ice Kingdom, the Sarutobi clan would find it even more difficult to pursue. At that point, it would be unclear which side his actions were helping. As the last group of clansmen retreated, Hagoromo Masakata and others also arrived at Hagoromo Chihana's location. Stop right there. Don't even think about leaving. As soon as Hagoromo Masakata landed beside Hagoromo Chihana, Sarutobi Kaho furiously pursued, with the Inoshika Cho trio close behind. Fire release. Great flame explosion. Earth release. Giant rock spear. Compound ninjutsu. Explosive flame giant spear. Sarutobi Kaho's eyes widened in anger, and with a flurry of hand signs, a compound ninjutsu with power comparable to an S-rank ninjutsu flew directly towards Hagoromo Chihana and the others. Chapter 142 Ice Escape. Spiral Blizzard. Seeing the stone pillars on the opposite side, bringing with them rolling heat waves, Hagoromo Masakata immediately stepped forward. Storm release. Luminous storm pillar. Buzz. In an instant, a storm release laser pillar with a diameter of nearly 1 meter directly met the incoming flaming rock spear. Boom. The two collided, immediately spreading a shockwave. A moment later, both the storm release laser pillar and the flaming rock spear disappeared almost simultaneously. Uncle Taro, Uncle Ishihara, and also Teru Rock and Mei-Fei, you all retreat. Uncle Masakata and I will hold off the enemy. Hagoromo Chihana looked at the opposite side with a serious expression. Young clan head. Hagoromo Taro still wanted to say something, but Hagoromo Chihana directly interrupted him. Don't worry, I have ice jump. They won't be able to keep Uncle Masakata and me. As his voice fell, a few people nodded. Young clan head and second elder, please be careful. After speaking, the four instantly disappeared from their original spots. Chase them. Sarutobi Kaho roared and instantly rushed towards them. Hagoromo Chihana and Hagoromo Masakata exchanged glances, then Hagoromo Masakata once again charged forward to confront Sarutobi Kaho. Seeing this, Akamichi Kenji and Yamanaka Hirahiko, two of the Inoshika Cho trio, looked at Nara Shikano, wanting him to make a decision. After Nara Shikano nodded, the the three followed Sarutobi Kaho in pursuit, and Senju Hashirama, not wanting to just watch, also charged forward. Ha! Hagoromo Chihana took a deep breath. Next, it's all up to me. As his voice fell, he immediately formed hand seals, ice release, ice clone jutsu. A humanoid ice sculpture emerged from Hagoromo Chihana's body, then became identical to Hagoromo Chihana. The next moment, the ice clone, which had taken nearly half of Hagoromo Chihana's chakra, directly confronted the Ino Shikacho trio, while he himself once again faced Senju Hashirama. Rasengan. His second round of battle with Senju Hashirama officially began. However, in this battle, neither of them used large-scale ninjutsu, but instead engaged in skirmishes with small-scale conventional ninjutsu. Soon, half an hour passed. Hagoromo Chihana, who was fighting Senju Hashirama, thought to himself, it's almost time. Half an hour was already enough for the Hagoromo clan and the Yuhi clan to retreat a long distance. However, Hagoromo Chihana, worried that there wasn't enough time, stalled for another 10 minutes or so, then finally shouted loudly, "Uncle Masakata." Hagoromo Masakata naturally understood what Hagoromo Chihana meant. As his voice fell, he forced Sarutobi Kaho back with one move, then instantly appeared beside Hagoromo Chihana, young clan head. Sarutobi Kaho knew that Hagoromo Chihana had a rogue-level ninjutsu that allowed him to disappear instantly. Seeing this, he immediately understood that Hagoromo Chihana was going to escape. Thus, Sarutobi Kaho, with nowhere to vent his anger, directly cursed, "Bastard! Damn brat, this old man and your Hagoromo clan are not done." Hearing this, Hagoromo Chihana couldn't help but sneer, "Haha, not done. Old monkey, the score between our two clans hasn't been settled yet. Perfect, before I leave, I'll give you a gift." After speaking, Hagoromo Chihana formed hand seals, and a huge ice lens appeared directly in the sky, beginning to gather sunlight towards the Sarutobi clan land. Ice release. Light energy convergence. For this light energy convergence, Hagoromo Chihana injected a lot of yin release chakra into the ice lens, giving it a certain level of sentience in a short time, allowing it to actively search for and attack Sarutobi clan members. The light pillar gradually shrank, and the focal point began to heat up rapidly. Immediately after, the Sarutobi clan land began to smoke and burst into raging flames. Screams and shouts, some young, some old, some rough, some sharp, immediately rang out within the Sarutobi clan land. "Bastard!" Sarutobi Kaho cursed furiously, quickly forming hand seals to launch an attack, wanting to use Earth Dragon Bullet to break the ice lens in the air. But unexpectedly, the ice lens, which had gained initial sentience, dodged with a single movement. Senju Hashirama, seeing this scene, also formed hand seals to attack. Wood release, adamantine flying wood. A wooden stake, 1 meter in diameter and several meters long, quickly flew towards the ice lens. But who would have thought, facing Senju Hashirama's adamantine flying wood, the ice lens again dodged with another movement. Thus, to break the ice lens, only ninja with flying abilities, or those with extremely flexible aerial ninjutsu, could accomplish it. After a moment of thought, Senju Hashirama decisively made a decision: wood release, wood dragon jutsu. On the other side, after performing light energy convergence, Hagoromo Chihana extended his right hand, and a Rasengan began to form in his palm. As Senju Hashirama used wood dragon jutsu to ascend, the Rasengan in Hagoromo Chihana's palm began to change. The chakra orb continuously enlarged, and at the same time, an ice blue light began to appear inside. "Uncle Masakata, grab my shoulder. We're getting ready to retreat." As his voice fell, Hagoromo Masakata immediately placed his right hand on Hagoromo Chihana's shoulder. Slowly, the Rasengan transformed into an extremely huge ice blue sphere, with chakra turbulence inside like a blizzard, appearing both exceptionally beautiful and dangerous. That is, looking at the chakra sphere, which was several times larger than a person, Sarutobi Kaho's internal alarm bells instantly rang. Hagoromo Chihana sneered. "My last S-rank ninjutsu, developed over the past 2 years, an advanced version of Rasengan infused with ice-style chakra. This is for you." The next second, Hagoromo Chihana directly appeared with Hagoromo Masakata among the crowd. Behind Sarutobi Kaho. Ice release, Rasengan blizzard. Swish. The two disappeared again, leaving only a chakra sphere, several times larger than a person, in their original spot. Buzz. As it lost Hagoromo Chihana's chakra control, the Rasengan blizzard rapidly expanded. Ninja who came into contact with the Rasengan blizzard nearby were almost effortlessly turned into ice sculptures. In less than a second, the diameter of the Rasengan blizzard had already expanded to nearly 20 meters. Be careful, Sarutobi Kaho's shout echoed across the entire battlefield. A moment later, boom, the gigantic chakra sphere directly exploded, and the violent ice-release chakra turbulence instantly raged like a natural disaster, swirling and wreaking havoc. Any ninja caught in the icy blizzard were spared the step of turning into ice sculptures. They were directly transformed into ice particles, scattered by the wind, becoming part of the Rasengan blizzard. On the battlefield, fierce winds raged, and ice and snow danced. After about 2 or 3 minutes, the battlefield, ravaged by the blizzard, finally calmed down. At this point, in the area where the blizzard had raged, nothing remained. Not a single Sarutobi ninja's Mukuro was left on the scene. Only the pink snow drifting in the sky and covering the ground could prove the existence of those ninja. Looking at the shattered clan land and the ninja who had survived on the battlefield, untouched by the Rasengan blizzard, Sarutobi Kaho remained silent for a long time. After a few seconds, "No, PFF'd," Sarutobi Kaho shouted, instantly spat out a mouthful of old blood, and fell straight backward. Sarutobi Clan Head. Chapter 143. Beating the Father and Beating the Son. It was evening. A large group of ninja appeared near the main road of Sunset Mountain. "Chiyong, you and your people should return to the Yuhi clan land first. As for the rewards, bring your people to the Hagoromo clan land tomorrow to collect them," Hagoromo Chicken said, looking at Yuhi Chiyong. Yuhi Chiyong, standing nearby, nodded, yes. After speaking, he turned and left, walking towards the ninja squad behind him. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chicken continued to lead the Hagoromo clan's ninja towards the Hagoromo clan land, while the Yuhi clan separated, led by Yuhi Chiyong, to return to their clan land. Not long after, the Hagoromo clan's ninja squad appeared at the bottom of the eastern slope of their clan land. At the entrance of the clan land, the clan leader Hagoromo Okakawa and the second elder Hagoromo Okugawa had already received news of their clansman's victorious return, so they had led their clansmen out half an hour early to wait here. This morning, the supplies brought back by some clansmen, confiscated from the Shimura clan, had made everyone happy for a long time, and the news of the Shimura clan's annihilation had allowed the Hagoromo clansmen to vent their anger. This accursed Shimura clan, which had taken advantage of their vulnerability to besiege the Hagoromo clan a few years ago, was finally getting its just desserts. Of course, what made the clansmen happiest was the performance of the young clan leader, Hagoromo Chicken. Leading the clansmen into battle for the first time, he was able to avenge the Hagoromo clan, making the hyena-like Shimura clan suffer their deserved retribution. After this incident, the Hagoromo clan members became even more convinced that with Hagoromo Chicken as their young clan leader, the Hagoromo clan would surely become stronger and more likely to endure in this chaotic world. "They're here," someone shouted loudly, and then, all the other clansmen followed suit. Shouting loudly. Seeing this, Hagoromo Okakawa smiled and walked down the slope. Hagoromo Okugawa and other high-ranking officials also smiled, following behind the clan leader. As for the other clansmen, they cheered and slowly moved down the slope, welcoming the return of their heroes. At the bottom of the slope, looking at the cheering clansmen, a genuine joy involuntarily arose in Hagoromo Chicken's heart. These countless clansmen were cheering loudly for him and the ninja squad he led. If he hadn't transmigrated, he probably would never have experienced this feeling of being genuinely supported by people in his entire life. And this feeling, he had experienced it for the second time since he transmigrated. The first time was when he, Hagoromo Terushi, Hagoromo Maifei, and 2 Hagoromo Jonin, returned victorious after ambushing the Sarutobi Shimura clan land. It was a pity that the 2 Jonin sacrificed themselves that time, and only he, Terushi, and Maifei experienced that cheer. But this time's cheer would be experienced by him and the ninja squad he led, together. This time, those welcomed as heroes would no longer be just a mere 3 people. Hagoromo Okakawa led the people from the clan land down the slope, and Hagoromo Chicken led the returning ninja squad up the slope. Soon, the 2 groups met. "Welcome home." Hagoromo Okakawa did not say any grand, righteous words, just these 4 words already expressed everything he wanted to convey. Hagoromo Chicken replied with a smile, I did not disappoint. Although this expedition did not annihilate the Sarutobi clan as well, which felt a little regrettable. However, the purpose of this attack was originally to annihilate the Shimura clan, to avenge the clansman who died a few years ago, and to avenge Hagoromo Titanium, who had just sacrificed himself. As for attacking the Sarutobi clan, it was merely an impulse of his, wanting to resolve this enemy once and for all. Since it wasn't successful now, it didn't mean the goal hadn't been achieved. Therefore, Hagoromo Chicken saying he did not disappoint was perfectly fine. After all, in this situation, he couldn't possibly be a killjoy and say the mission wasn't completed, that would be insane. Oh, as Hagoromo Chicken's words fell, the clansmen standing behind Hagoromo Okakawa instantly cheered loudly, and the ninja returning from the expedition, standing behind Hagoromo Chicken, also showed genuine smiles on their faces. Looking at the cheering clansmen in front of him, Hagoromo Chicken noticed many children. They were all brought out by their parents and were all newborns who appeared after the Hagoromo clan was besieged by the Sanju 3 clans a few years ago, resulting in many clansmen's deaths. It was foreseeable that once these children grew up, the overall strength of the Hagoromo clan would return to its pre-war level. Uncle Chicken, you lied to us. Suddenly, 2 small children, puffed up with anger, came up to Hagoromo Chicken. Hagoromo Chicken looked down. It's Little Goldie and Little Silver. What did I lie to you about? Little Goldie pouted angrily. Didn't you say that once our strength was recognized by you, you would take us to avenge Grandpa? How come you went to avenge Grandpa first? Exactly. Uncle Chicken, you actually lied to children, you're too much. Little Silver waved his fists indignantly from the side. Looking at the 2 children in front of him, Hagoromo Chicken said with a smile, I didn't lie to you. Didn't I say that when your strength is recognized by me someday, you will be qualified to avenge Grandpa? Yes, you clearly promised us that, how can you go back on your word? I didn't go back on my word. I said I would acknowledge that you are qualified to avenge Grandpa, but I didn't say you would be able to avenge him then. How can that be considered me breaking my promise? Hagoromo Chicken spread his hands, showing an expression that implied they had misunderstood him. You're taking advantage of our young age and trying to fool us. Upon hearing Hagoromo Chicken's explanation, Little Goldie and Little Silver were instantly furious, waving their fists, their eyes red. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chicken decided not to tease them anymore and then said, all right, actually, you still have a chance for revenge. What do you mean? Little Goldie and Little Silver stared with wide eyes, looking very confused. Hagoromo Chicken said, actually, the Shimura clan hasn't been completely annihilated. The young clan leader of the Shimura family had a baby, and his first birthday banquet is in the next 2 days, so he went to the Sarutobi clan and thus escaped death. These 2 remnants of the Shimura clan are named Shimura Itachi and Danzo Shimura. When you grow up, you can seek revenge on them. At that time, you 2 brothers can fight the father, then fight the son, how satisfying. Hearing this, Little Goldie and Little Silver couldn't help but fantasize, then smiled foolishly, it seems so. Chapter 144 Inches Duty Bound. A few hours earlier, the Sarutobi clan, to the west of the Hagoromo clan. After the combined forces of the Hagoromo clan and the Uchiha clan withdrew, the Sarutobi clan began to extinguish the fires spreading through their territory, treat the injured, and handle the bodies of their clansmen. At this time, Sarutobi Hotu, the head of the Sarutobi clan, also awoke from his coma. Facing the significantly damaged clan territory and the injured clansmen, Sarutobi Hotu's eyes were bloodshot, wishing he could attack the Hagoromo clan immediately to exact his revenge. But he couldn't do that. It was still unclear how many clansmen had been injured or killed. Rash actions now would be no different from seeking death. Inside the council hall, Sarutobi Hotu, Senju Hashirama, and the 3 clan heads of Ino Shikacho, a total of 5 people, were seated there. Sarutobi Hotu's face was grim, his fists clenched, a torrent of anger with no outlet. Seeing this, Nara Shikano spoke, none of us expected something like this to happen. Please accept our condolences, Sarutobi clan head. What do you plan to do next, Sarutobi clan head? Hearing the Nara clan head's words, Sarutobi Hotu took a deep breath and then said, the Hagoromo clan must pay for this. My Sarutobi clan is not something the Hagoromo clan can casually manipulate. Saying this, Sarutobi Hotu slammed his fist on the table. After calming down slightly, he continued, looking at the others, "Today, I must thank young clan head Senju, clan head Nara, clan head Akamichi, and clan head Yamanaka for your assistance. I thank you all." After speaking, Sarutobi Hotu stood up and bowed to the four, expressing his gratitude. Regardless, the few of them did not hesitate when it was time to act, especially Senju Hashirama, who directly held back the extremely troublesome Hagoromo Chiharu. Otherwise, with no one to restrain Hagoromo Chiharu's exaggerated ninjutsu, once he entered the Sarutobi clan's territory, the Sarutobi clan wouldn't even need to fight, they could just surrender. After all, Hagoromo Chiharu's large-scale ninjutsu, whether it was Ice Kingdom or White Tiger descent, no one except a clan head-level expert like Sarutobi Hotu could withstand its power. Therefore, Senju Hashirama definitely played a major role in the Sarutobi clan's resistance against the Hagoromo clan. Seeing this, Senju Hashirama and the other three quickly stood up. "You are too kind, Sarutobi clan head. As guests of the Sarutobi clan, how could we stand by and do nothing when our hosts are in trouble?" Nara Shikano responded. The remaining three, Senju Hashirama, also nodded repeatedly, "Exactly, exactly." Sarutobi Hotu stood up. "No matter what, the Sarutobi clan will remember your kindness this time." Subsequently, the several people sat down again and began to chat animatedly. During this time, Senju Hashirama even offered that if the Sarutobi clan needed it, his wood release could help the Sarutobi clan restore their damaged buildings and houses. Sarutobi Hotu, hearing this, refused without even thinking. What a joke! Who was Senju Hashirama? He was the young clan head of the behemoth that was the Senju clan. Moreover, he had witnessed Senju Hashirama's strength today. Although he himself was only a top-tier elite jonin, that exaggerated wood release, even against a clan head-level expert, would probably not be far off. He had no confidence in being able to defeat Senju Hashirama. For such a person, if he were to really build houses for the Sarutobi clan as a laborer, then what would become of the Sarutobi clan's reputation? Therefore, for the sake of the Sarutobi clan's future, he absolutely could not agree to Senju Hashirama building houses for the Sarutobi clan. Thus, the several people remained seated, chatting idly. After nearly an hour, Senju Hashirama and the other three left one after another. By evening, a Sarutobi ninja walked in through the door. "Lord Clan Head, the clan's losses have been tallied." Sarutobi Hotu sat in his chair, leaning back, took a deep breath, and then closed his eyes, saying, "Tell me." The Sarutobi ninja hesitated for a moment, then began, "The clan's losses are extensive. All three top-tier elite jonin adults have sacrificed themselves. Nearly half of the clan's ninja have been lost, and nearly a quarter of the ordinary clansmen. As for the clan's buildings, the northern perimeter has been largely destroyed, and many houses within the clan territory have suffered varying degrees of damage due to the fires. It can be said that our Sarutobi family's losses today have reached a debilitating extent." Bang! Sarutobi Hotu smashed the table in front of him to smithereens with a single punch. "Damn it! Damn it!" In his fury, in a short while, almost everything in the council hall that could be smashed was smashed by Sarutobi Hotu, short of tearing down the house itself. After venting for a while, Sarutobi Hotu gradually calmed down. Immediately after, Shimura Itachi walked into the council hall. "Uncle." Sarutobi Hotu nodded. "What is it?" Shimura Itachi said. "With what happened today, I wonder if you still plan to hold Danzo and Hiruzen's first birthday celebration, uncle." Sarutobi Hotu took a deep breath, then said, "Tomorrow, I'll go back to the Shimura clan territory with you and discuss it with your father." Shimura Itachi nodded. "All right, then uncle, I'll take my leave." Watching Shimura Itachi's departing back, Sarutobi Hotu waved his hand, and a ninja landed beside him. "Go invite the young clan head Senju and the three clan heads of Inoshika-cho. Tell them I wish to invite them to dinner." "Yes." As soon as the words fell, the figure instantly disappeared. An hour later, the five reunited at the dinner table. Sarutobi Hotu, while toasting the four, spoke, "The Hagoromo clan has gone too far today, causing such immense losses to my Sarutobi clan. If I don't retaliate, I truly cannot swallow this anger in my heart. Therefore, I have decided to unite with the Shimura clan to attack the Hagoromo clan. I hope the four of you, for the sake of our past friendship, will lend my Sarutobi clan a hand. Of course, I won't ask for your help for nothing. As long as we can break through the Hagoromo clan, my Sarutobi clan will not take a single coin of the Hagoromo family's wealth. At this point, Sarutobi Hotu gritted his teeth, his face filled with rage. It was clear that he was truly overflowing with anger, almost unable to suppress it, otherwise, he wouldn't have made such a promise as not taking a single coin of the Hagoromo family's wealth after breaking through the Hagoromo clan. Facing Sarutobi Hotu's request, Senju Hashirama hesitated for a moment, then replied, I cannot make this decision myself, I need to return and consult with my father. Before coming to the Sarutobi clan, Senju Butsuma had warned him not to make any promises lightly, and Tobarama also held the same attitude, so he could only respond to the Sarutobi clan head in this way. On the other side, of the Inoshika Cho trio, Akamichi Kenji and Yamanaka Hirohiko said nothing, only looking at Nara Shikano, who was seated beside them. Nara Shikano waited for Senju Hashirama to finish speaking, then immediately said, as long as the Senju clan and the Shimura clan act, then our three clans will not hesitate. Sarutobi Hotu nodded. Good, then I thank you for. Chapter 145. It's over before it even begins. The next day, Senju Hashirama bid farewell to Sarutobi Hotu, preparing to return to his clan and inform Senju Butsuma about what had happened to the Sarutobi clan. The three clan heads of Inoshika Cho also took their leave, informing Sarutobi Hotu that as soon as the Senju clan and the Shimura clan decided to attack the Hagoromo clan, they would immediately bring their clansmen to assist. Kano, do we really have to get involved in a war between such major clans? After moving away from the Sarutobi clanland, Akamichi Kenji asked Nara Kano with a worried expression, and Yamanaka Hirohiko on his left also looked over. Nara Kano smiled. Don't worry, this war is highly unlikely to break out. Akamichi Kenji and Yamanaka Hirohiko were immediately surprised. Oh, why is that? Nara Kano explained. Do you remember, a few years ago the Hagoromo clan gifted the Chishin iron mine to the Uchiha clan, and the location of this iron mine is just to the west of the Hagoromo clan. Over the past few years, the Chishin iron mine has brought huge profits to the Uchiha clan. If the Hagoromo clan were to be annihilated, then the Chishin iron mine would fall into the hands of the Senju clan. At that time, the Uchiha clan's east, west, and north directions would be completely enveloped by the Senju clan's power. The Uchiha clan would absolutely not allow such a thing to happen. Therefore, if the Senju were to send troops against the Hagoromo, the Uchiha clan would definitely do everything in its power to deal with the Senju clan. The great war between these two clans just ended last year, so the probability of Senju Butsuma sending troops at this time is almost zero. As for the Sarutobi clan, it's almost crippled now. Even with the addition of the Shimura clan, our chances of taking down the Hagoromo are very small. That's why I said this war is highly unlikely to break out. Nara Kano spoke all his conjectures in one breath, then he added. With a smile, of course, even if it does break out, our three clans won't suffer a loss. After all, with the Senju, Shimura, and Sarutobi taking the lead, how could our three clans incur too great a sacrifice? But what if the Senju don't attack the Hagoromo, but Sarutobi Hotu insists on fighting the Hagoromo? Akamichi Kenji asked with a puzzled expression. Nara Kano smiled and spread his hands. Do you remember what I told Sarutobi Hotu? As long as the Senju and Shimura agree, our three clans will not hesitate. But if the Senju don't make a move, wouldn't it be perfectly reasonable for us not to help? Hearing this, Yamanaka Hirohiko and Akamichi Kenji finally breathed a sigh of relief, then the two smiled. Kano, you truly live up to your name. Sarutobi Hotu and Shimura Mai, standing at the entrance of the Sarutobi clanland, watched Inoshika Cho leave. Let's go, we're heading to the Shimura clan land. After Sarutobi Hotu finished speaking, he instantly shunshined away from his spot. Shimura Mai, who was behind him, and the woman holding Danzo Shimura, quickly followed suit. However, more than an hour later, Sarutobi Hotu, who arrived at the ruins of the Shimura clanland, stared at the scene before him and was utterly dumbfounded. Did I go to the wrong place? At this moment, Sarutobi Hotu fell into deep self-doubt. However, he didn't doubt for long before Shimura Mai and the woman holding Danzo caught up from behind. Looking at the desolate ice field before him, a sentence suddenly echoed in Shimura Mai's mind. Shimura Mai, your father is dead. No. Instantly, a heart-wrenching wail directly echoed across the entire ice field, while the woman next to Shimura Mai didn't wail, she simply fainted from the shock. Wah! Poor Danzo Shimura fell from his mother's arms to the ground, and after being dropped, he immediately started crying at the top of his lungs. After a long while, Shimura Mai finally calmed down from his crying. Hagoromo. Sarutobi Hotu said nothing, only patted Shimura Mai's shoulder, then led the three back to the Sarutobi clan land. At the same time, he also sent people to notify the Senju and Ino Shikacho that the plan to attack the Hagoromo clan was cancelled. Now, with the Shimura almost annihilated and the Sarutobi directly half-crippled, what right did he have to seek revenge on the Hagoromo clan? And Senju Hashirama, upon returning to the Senju clan and informing Senju Butsuma of what had happened to the Sarutobi clan, just as Narukano had guessed, Senju Butsuma pondered for a moment and then refused to jointly attack the Hagoromo with the Sarutobi clan. And if the Senju clan did not agree to send troops, Ino Shikacho would naturally make no move. However, upon receiving the notification from the Sarutobi clan, they expressed deep regret and sorrow, and the Sarutobi ninja also brought Ino Shikacho's attitude back to Sarutobi Hotu. And so, a war of 6 clans ganging up on the Hagoromo, with one clan annihilated, one clan half-crippled, and one clan disagreeing, ended before it even began. Hagoromo clan land. It had been a week since Hagoromo Chihin led his clansmen to annihilate the Shimura and returned. Today, the 5th and 6th brothers were coincidentally both at home, so Hagoromo Chihin decided to guide them in their training. Both of you have now mastered the Rasengan very proficiently. Now, I will guide you in training the preliminary advanced version of the Rasengan, the wind release, Rasengan, Hagoromo Chihin said with a smile to the two in the courtyard. The Rasengan did not immediately advance to the wind release. Rasenshuriken, it had an advancement process, and this advancement process was the wind release, Rasengan. At that time, Naruto, after finishing his training for the Rasenshuriken, immediately used the wind release, Rasengan combined with Yamato's water release, violent water wave to unleash the water release, hurricane vortex jutsu, blocking Kakuzu's fire release ninjutsu. As for the Rasenshuriken, unless one mastered Sage Mode or Space-Time Ninjutsu, it was very easy to injure oneself. This ninjutsu was simply not suitable for ordinary practitioners like the 5th and 6th brothers to learn. Therefore, the wind release, Rasengan, which is slightly more powerful and won't harm oneself, is very suitable for the 5th and 6th brothers to learn at this stage. The 5th and 6th brothers immediately perked up when they heard this. Brother, you haven't guided us in training for a long time, the golden-haired 5th brother complained slightly. The 6th brother next to him also nodded in agreement, yeah. Hagoromo Chihin gave each of them a flick to the forehead, do you two have no conscience? Haven't I guided you normally? Ah, so painful, but you haven't taught us any new jutsu for a long time. The 5th and 6th brothers, who had been hit on the forehead, couldn't help but clutch their heads and cry out in pain. Haha, aren't I teaching you new ninjutsu now? Hagoromo Chihin laughed. Alright, the 5th and 6th brothers pouted slightly, somewhat unconvinced, and nodded. Seeing this, Hagoromo Chihin clenched his fist. What? Don't want to learn? If you don't want to learn, then forget it. I won't force you. Learn, learn, learn. Brother, we were wrong. Wrong about what? Chapter 146 Helper. Time slowly passed, and soon it was noon. Hagoromo Monokawa, the patriarch, after dealing with the issues arising from the annihilation of the Shimura clan, finally returned home after a long absence, preparing to have lunch with his family. At the dining table, Patriarch Hagoromo Monokawa and his sons, along with the outsider Chiyu, a total of 5 people, sat together. Facing a table full of dishes, Hagoromo Monokawa picked up a slice of meat with his chopsticks and said, Chihin, if everything goes smoothly, you should reach the strength of a patriarch-level ninja in another 2 or 3 years, right? Hagoromo Chihin nodded, it should be about that time. Hagoromo Monokawa said, that's good. I originally thought that since you now have the strength to defeat an average patriarch-level ninja, perhaps I should hand over the position of the Hagoromo clan's patriarch to you. After all, the 4 clan war a few years ago cost me a lot of mental effort, causing me to feel that my energy for handling clan affairs in the past 2 years is not as good as before. But then I thought about it again, You are currently in a stage of rapid strength growth, and you really shouldn't be tied down by the trivial matters within the clan. So, after much consideration, I still feel that I should persevere for a few more years, and when you reach the patriarch level, I will announce my abdication to you. What do you think? After speaking, Hagoromo Monokawa looked at his son. Although that was what he thought, the final decision still depended on Chihin's own opinion. After all, the future of the Hagoromo clan was to be handed over to Hagoromo Chihin. Looking at the patriarch in front of him, who was only in his 30s but already had a full head of white hair and a forehead covered with fine lines, Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but feel a little sad. He still remembered that when he first transmigrated, the man in front of him still had brown hair and looked very energetic. But when the Hagoromo clan was besieged by the Senju, Sarutobi, and Shimura clans, this man's hair almost turned white overnight, and the issue of the clan's strength recovery in these past few years was like a huge mountain pressing on his shoulders. In these past few years, the man in front of him had truly sacrificed too much for the clan. After a moment of silence, Hagoromo Chihin finally nodded, okay. It wasn't that he didn't understand his father, but what the other party said was indeed reasonable. He was currently in an excellent period of rising strength, and he really shouldn't be distracted by clan trivialities. Of course, this wasn't the main reason why he wasn't accepting the position of patriarch now. After all, he could find others to handle clan trivialities on his behalf. As a transmigrator who had studied 5,000 years of history, Hagoromo Chihin would never be fooled by others just because he entrusted matters to them. The real reason he wasn't accepting the position of patriarch now was because he still had a plan that hadn't been executed. Once this plan was completed, it would not only indirectly enhance the strength of the Hagoromo clan but also greatly assist him in unifying the world and achieving peace. Therefore, it would be better for him to take over the position of patriarch after this plan was completed. Seeing Hagoromo Chihin say this, Hagoromo Monokawa smiled and didn't speak. If he could, he really wanted to step down as patriarch now and take an elder's position to rest, but as he said, it wasn't time for him to rest yet. If he were to step down as patriarch now and let Hagoromo Chihin take over, it would be very detrimental to Hagoromo Chihin's strength growth. And for Hagoromo Chihin, as the successor to the patriarch, if his strength did not grow as it should, it would be a huge loss for the entire Hagoromo clan. Thus, during a single lunch, Hagoromo Monokawa and his son decided when the position of the Hagoromo patriarch should be handed over. Seeing that the two had finished their discussion, the fifth and sixth sons immediately looked at Hagoromo Chihin with admiration. Nisan is going to be the patriarch in 2 or 3 years. So amazing. Chiyu next to them also looked at Hagoromo Chihin with reverence. You two also need to cultivate diligently. Only when your strength is strong enough can you help me when I become patriarch, Hagoromo Chihin said with a smile, looking at his 2 younger brothers. The fifth and sixth sons nodded together and said, Don't worry, Ni-san, we will work hard. Chiyu lowered his head and didn't speak, but he secretly resolved in his heart that he too would cultivate diligently so that he could help young patriarch Chihin when the time came. Lunch ended just like that. Hagoromo Monokawa left home again, while Hagoromo Chihin continued to guide the fifth and sixth sons in their cultivation, but this time, there was an additional figure, Chiyu. The next day, Hagoromo Chihin greeted his father and then left the Hagoromo clan territory alone. Next, he was going to carry out his plan. Hagoromo Chihin had said that his dream was to unify the world and achieve peace. However, to unify the world, the strength of the Hagoromo clan alone was far from enough. Even Senju Hashirama, when he established Konoha, relied on the power of the Uchiha clan, let alone something like unifying the world. Therefore, if Hagoromo Chihin wanted to unify the world, he had to acquire enough helpers. In the Land of Fire, only the great clans could play a major role in Hagoromo Chihin's unification of the world. And the great clans of the Land of Fire were generally just a few, the top-tier Senju and Uchiha, and 3 first-rate ninja clans, Hagoromo, Hyuga, and Kagaya. There was no need to think much about the Senju and Uchiha, their eyes were only on each other, and they were large and powerful families. Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, these two. Their future strength would stand at the pinnacle of the ninja world. If he wanted to unify the world, then who would be the leader? To put it bluntly, his Hagoromo clan simply wouldn't even register in the eyes of the Senju and Uchiha clans. If he were to be the leader, the people of these two clans would absolutely be a million times unconvinced. Even if he could defeat Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara and force these three clans to reluctantly unite, the Hagoromo clan's weakness was an undeniable fact. At that time, if Hagoromo Chihin became the leader, the Uchiha and Senju people would be unconvinced, and since they couldn't defeat him, they would ultimately only go looking for trouble with the Hagoromo clan. And the Hagoromo clan, they would surely think, our patriarch is the leader of this collective, so why should we fear you Uchiha and Senju? Thus, conflict would arise. Furthermore, as time passed, this conflict would definitely grow larger and larger. The Uchiha's predicament in Konoha in the original story is a very good example. Although these two situations are different, the results are the same. Therefore, allying with the Senju and Uchiha was definitely not a good choice. Considering everything, Hagoromo Chihin's only options were the Hyuga clan and the Kagaya clan. The Hyuga and Kagaya, like the Hagoromo, were first-rate ninja clans. Psychologically, the people of the three clans would tacitly consider themselves and the other party as equals. As long as Hagoromo Chihin could get the patriarchs of the other clans to stand on the same front as him, then this alliance would be initially completed. As for how to get the other patriarchs to stand on the same front as him, that was not a difficult problem. Although Hagoromo Chihin didn't have the protagonist Koto Amatsukami, don't forget, he still had 2 unused subordinate talent points from the system rewards. Now, they would come in handy. Chapter 147. Speculations about the Hyuga clan. In the northeastern part of the Land of Fire, a figure was steadily making his way forward. Hagoromo Chihin's targets, the Hyuga clan and the Kagaya clan, were both located in the northeastern region of the Land of Fire. However, the Hyuga clan was further north, situated south of the Land of Rice Fields, while the Kagaya clan was located further east, southwest of the Land of Iron. Originally, Hagoromo Chihin's first chosen target was the Hyuga clan. After all, in this generation, the young clan leader of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Tenin, was said to possess exceptional talent. In his previous life, there were even rumors that Hyuga Tenin was the strongest individual after Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, and his Byakugan had evolved to the Hyuga clan's most powerful stage, known as the Thousand-Eyed Byakugan. It was said that when Konoha was just established or before its establishment, Hyuga Tenin fought a battle with the Raikage of the Land of Lightning, resulting in the Raikage being injured and fleeing back to the Land of Lightning. It was precisely for this reason, coupled with Kumogakure frequently suffering losses from the Byakugan on the battlefield, that they developed a covetous desire for the Byakugan. Although the veracity of this rumor is unknown, it still highlights Hyuga Tenin's formidable strength. Therefore, if Hagoromo Chihin were to unify the world, Hyuga Tenin would undoubtedly be an excellent helper. However, Hagoromo Chihin pondered this idea for a moment before abandoning it, as the difficulty of acting against the Hyuga clan was simply too great. What Hagoromo Chihin intended to do was not a good deed. Rashly showing up would only arouse their suspicion. Therefore, if Hagoromo Chihin wanted to make Hyuga Tenin his own, he could only bide his time outside, waiting for Hyuga Tenin to go out, then get close to him and use the subordinate talent value. But this would easily lead to a problem. If Hagoromo Chihin wanted to turn Hyuga Tenin into his own during his outings, he would need to know when he would go out. However, Hagoromo Chihin had no inside man in the Hyuga clan. If he wanted to know this, he would have to personally monitor the Hyuga clan to gather intelligence on Hyuga Tenin's outings. But the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan was not for show. Directly monitoring the Hyuga clan would be like a flea on a monk's head. The Hyuga clan could activate their Byakugan and discover him at any time. For Hagoromo Chihin to use the subordinate talent value, he first had to ensure the other party wasn't hostile towards him. If he were caught monitoring them, it would be a miracle if Hyuga Tenin didn't fight him. In that case, what good would the subordinate talent value be? So, after much consideration, Hagoromo Chihin decisively gave up on scheming against Hyuga Tenin and instead prepared to act against the Kagaya clan. Speaking of which, before I transmigrated, the Kagaya clan was clearly a major clan in the Land of Water in the manga. Why are they in the Land of Fire now? Hagoromo Chihin muttered softly as he traveled. He considered himself a Naruto fan, so he would definitely not misremember that the Kagaya clan was a major clan in the Land of Water. He even clearly remembered that the Kagaya clan had launched a rebellion, attacked Hidden Mist Village, and was subsequently annihilated by the 4th Mizukage. But now, how could the Kagaya clan be one of the 3 first-rate shinobi clans of the Land of Fire? However, upon second thought, the Kagaya clan and the Hyuga clan were old family friends. It wasn't so hard to accept that the Kagaya clan was a major clan in the Land of Fire before the establishment of the shinobi villages. After all, if the Hyuga and Kagaya clans had started out with one in the Land of Water and the other in the Land of Fire, they wouldn't have become intertwined. Only if the Kagaya clan was initially a major clan in the Land of Fire, and then for some unknown reason, they were forced to relocate to the Land of Water, could the long-standing friendship between the Hyuga and Kagaya clans be explained. But what could have caused a first-rate shinobi clan like the Kagaya to relocate to the Land of Water? Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but ponder this question. One thing was certain: the Kagaya clan definitely did not voluntarily relocate to the Land of Water. After all, the Land of Water was not a good place. Unlike the abundant resources of a sea-surrounded land, the Land of Water was perpetually shrouded in mist, with the sun appearing hazy for most of the year. Furthermore, the Land of Water consisted mostly of islands with barren land, making crop growth extremely difficult. Additionally, unless one's ancestors had lived there for generations, outsiders living in such a place for extended periods were prone to illness. Therefore, the Kagaya clan would have to be insane to voluntarily relocate from the resource-rich, pleasant climate Land of Fire to the desolate Land of Water. After all, moving from the Land of Fire to the Land of Water would not only mean facing a harsh natural environment but also competing for resources and living space with local clans of the Land of Water such as the Hazuka, Yuki, Suikazan, and Hoshigaki. Such an act of seeking hardship for no reason would surely not be believed to be anything but forced. Thinking of this, Hagoromo Chihin gradually frowned. What reason could have forced the Kagaya, a powerful clan of the Land of Fire, to voluntarily move out of the Land of Fire? Suddenly, Hagoromo Chihin thought of a significant possibility. Could it be that the Kagaya clan was jointly driven out by the Sanju clan and the Uchiha clan? Hagoromo Chihin thought about this speculation more and more, and felt that the possibility was very high. After all, the Kagaya and Hagoromo clans were both first-rate shinobi clans. The Hagoromo clan survived when it was besieged by the Senju, Sarutobi, and Shimura clans combined. There's no reason the Kagaya clan would have been crushed by just the Senju or Uchiha clan. Although the Hagoromo clan managed to endure back then because the Uchiha clan tied up most of the Senju's forces, and Hagoromo Chihin had a cheat, allowing the Hagoromo clan to survive, let's not forget that the Kagaya clan also had the Hyuga clan to help them. If either the Senju or Uchiha clan attacked the Kagaya, allied with the Hyuga, would have no problem holding them off. Only if the Senju and Uchiha clans jointly attacked the Kagaya would the Hyuga be forced to stand by, ultimately leading to the Kagaya being driven out to sea. After all, with the Senju and Uchiha, these two super clans, joining forces, no shinobi clan in the ninja world could withstand their assault, not even the combined strength of the Hyuga and Kagaya, two first-rate shinobi clans. If the Hyuga were to intervene in such a situation, the only outcome would be to accompany the Kagaya in exile to the Land of Water. Therefore, with this deduction, it makes sense that the Hyuga and Kagaya, these two old family clans, after the establishment of the shinobi villages, one became a major clan of Hidden Mist Village in the Land of Water, and the other a major clan of Konoha Village in the Land of Fire. If that's the case, won't the Kagaya clan face an even worse situation in the coming years than the Hagoromo clan's near-annihilation crisis a few years ago? Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but stroke his chin and murmur. Chapter 148 Kagaya Young Clan Leader. The moment Hagoromo Chihin thought of the unprecedented crisis the Kagaya clan would face in the coming years, he couldn't help but smile. Of course, this wasn't Hagoromo Chihin gloating. Rather, only by offering help in their time of need could their friendship become truly invaluable. After all, turning the Kagaya clan leader into one of his own merely meant gaining the Kagaya clan leader's conviction. While Hagoromo Chihin could use his formidable strength to make other Kagaya clan members outwardly submit to him, that was far less effective than offering help in their time of need, which would earn their heartfelt conviction. Therefore, although the impending crisis for the Kagaya clan was not a good thing for them, it was good news for Hagoromo Chihin. As long as he could extend a helping hand in the Kagaya clan's most desperate hour, his assimilation of the Kagaya clan would be a natural progression. And once the Kagaya clan was secured, wouldn't the Hyuga clan naturally join this collective? As for why he was confident he could protect the Kagaya clan against the combined forces of the Uchiha and Senju. Haha, as a transmigrator with a golden finger, if he didn't even have that much confidence, he might as well just find a block of tofu and smash his head against it to die. After traveling for some time, Hagoromo Chihin finally arrived at the western side of the Kagaya clan. This location was not far from the Kagaya clan grounds, but also not too close, as even though the Kagaya clan didn't have the Hyuga clan's Byakugan, they still had their sensory ninja. Hagoromo Chihin's current position was perfectly on the edge of his sensory range, and his sensory abilities were now considered top tier in the ninja world. Very few in the ninja world could surpass him in sensory perception. Therefore, being in this position allowed him to detect the Kagaya clan's movements without being discovered by their people. However, one troublesome point was that he needed to constantly evade the Kagaya clan's patrolling ninja to avoid detection. Other than that, there weren't any major issues. Phew, this is really exhausting. Hidden in a tree, Hagoromo Chihin leaned against the trunk and let out a long sigh. From the Hagoromo clan territory to the Kagaya clan grounds, he had traversed almost half of the northern land of fire. After such a long journey, he was truly tired now. But there was no other way. For his goal of unifying the world and achieving peace, he had to endure this hardship. Leaning back against the tree trunk, Hagoromo Chihin began to recall information about the Kagaya young clan leader in his mind. According to the intelligence gathered by the Hagoromo clan over the years, the Kagaya young clan leader was roughly the same age as Hagoromo Chihin. As for strength, he was close to the level of a top elite jonin, stronger than Hagoromo Teruiwa and Hagoromo Maifei, but still had a certain gap compared to Hagoromo Chihin, Uchiha Madara, and Senju Hashirama. Finally, the Hagoromo clan's intelligence was not very clear about the Kagaya young clan leader's actual name. After all, even with old rivals like the Senju and Uchiha, Senju Butsuma initially knew very little about Uchiha Madara, let alone a figure like the Kagaya young clan leader who had no interaction with the Hagoromo clan. Therefore, it was already quite good that Hagoromo Chihin could learn this much about the Kagaya young clan leader from his clan. As long as I deal with the Kagaya young clan leader, then, relying on the Kagaya and Hyuga's long-standing friendship, Hyuga Tenin, the Hyuga clan's young clan leader, won't be difficult to handle. Thinking this, Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but smile, then began to calmly sense the situation within the Kagaya clan grounds. Perhaps due to his transmigration, or the yin release rewarded by the system, Hagoromo Chihin's sensory abilities were now on a completely different level than ordinary sensory ninja. Hagoromo Chihin could now clearly perceive the differences in chakra between people. This difference wasn't merely remembering a person's chakra characteristics after seeing them once. Instead, even if Hagoromo Chihin hadn't met the person, he could determine their basic information based on subtle chakra variations. For example, right now, he could locate the Kagaya clan's young clan leader by discerning the different chakras within the Kagaya clan grounds. First, based on chakra quality, Hagoromo Chihin easily identified all ninja within the Kagaya clan grounds whose strength was close to a top elite jonin. And next, this was where Hagoromo Chihin differed from other sensory ninja. He could determine a person's approximate age and physical condition based on the state of their chakra. A few minutes later, after successive screenings, found him. Hagoromo Chihin opened his eyes, a look of pleasant surprise on his face. His luck was good. Hagoromo Chihin had indeed found a ninja who was roughly his age and whose strength was close to a top elite jonin. Additionally, he also found two ninja who were his age and possessed the strength of an elite jonin. It seemed these two were the strongest among the Kagaya clan's younger generation, besides the young clan leader, just like Hagoromo Teruiwa and Hagoromo Maifei in the Hagoromo clan. The next steps will be much simpler. After locating the Kagaya young clan leader, Hagoromo Chihin began to rest while keeping an eye on his movements. As soon as the Kagaya young clan leader went out, he would seize the opportunity to follow, then find a chance to get closer to the Kagaya young clan leader, and finally use the subordinate talent value to turn him into one of his own. After all, having an initial level of favorability was a prerequisite for using the subordinate talent value, so getting closer to the Kagaya young clan leader was an indispensable step. Today, 3 days and 3 nights had passed since Hagoromo Chihin began staking out. During these 3 days, Hagoromo Chihin had been roughing it, looking quite disheveled, and he was completely exasperated by the Kagaya young clan leader not leaving the clan territory for 3 days. Damn it, you bone manipulating guy, are you some kind of shut-in? You haven't left the clan territory for 3 days, I'm truly fed up. Sitting in a tree, Hagoromo Chihin looked in the direction of the Kagaya clan grounds and complained bitterly. However, he didn't consider that after he completed a mission, he himself would stay in the clan territory to cultivate for 10 days to half a month without leaving. Now, it was perfectly normal for the Kagaya young clan leader, who specialized in taijutsu, to stay in the clan territory to train. How could he call him a shut-in? In the distance, the Kagaya clan grounds. In a private courtyard, a young man with silver-gray shoulder-length hair and a red dot growing on each side of his brow, put down his long sword and then let out a deep breath. Chapter 149 Kagaya Asari. In the morning, after a simple workout, Kagaya Matori ate breakfast and headed to the clan mission hall to accept a mission. The Kagaya clan stipulates that every Kagaya ninja must complete at least 1 mission each month. If the first mission has a short time limit, they must accept a second one. Kagaya Matori had accepted a mission at the beginning of the month and completed it in 3 days, so he still needed to accept another mission. Entering the mission hall, Kagaya Matori walked directly to the left, where black-level missions for Chunin and above were posted. Young clan leader. The person responsible for distributing missions was an old man with an empty right pant leg, indicating he was physically disabled. The reason for his disability was likely losing his leg in battle or during a mission. In response to the old man's greeting, Kagaya Matori's cold face managed a faint smile, then he nodded, quickly reverting to his expressionless state. The old man was not offended. Everyone knew the young clan leader's temperament. Although he was usually aloof, deep down, his emotions were quite rich, he just wasn't good at expressing them. This is an escort mission. The mission poster is in Gwangu town, north of the clan territory. The client requires at least 1 Jonin and 2 Chunin to escort a batch of goods to Hexen City in the central southern land of fire, departing tomorrow morning. The old man handed Kagaya Matori a black scroll. The young clan leader never chose missions, he simply did whatever the clan assigned him. Therefore, the missions assigned to the young clan leader were always specially selected to be the most suitable for him. As expected, Kagaya Matori simply glanced at the mission scroll, then nodded and walked out of the mission hall with it, just as he always did. Outside the door, Kagaya Matori continuously leapt across rooftops, quickly landing at the entrance of a courtyard. After knocking on the door, a middle-aged man emerged. Young clan leader. Kagaya Matori was concise. I just accepted a mission to escort a batch of goods to Hexen City in the central southern land of fire. Do you want to come? As the young clan leader, Kagaya Matori had performed many missions with other clan members, so upon hearing this, the other party agreed without hesitation. Soon, under Kagaya Matori's initiative, the necessary personnel for the mission were assembled. Meanwhile, Hagoromo Chihin, who was constantly monitoring the Kagaya young clan leader's movements from outside, also noticed the unusual nature of his actions. Oh, is this shut-in finally leaving? Perched in a tree, the somewhat disheveled Hagoromo Chihin couldn't help but grin. This guy was finally coming out. Then, Hagoromo Chihin quickly left his spot and headed north. He needed to maintain a certain distance from the Kagaya young clan leader, otherwise, if he were discovered and a misunderstanding arose, it would be troublesome. In the northeastern land of fire, Hagoromo Chihin continuously leapt forward, with Kagaya Matori and 2 Chunin a long distance behind him. They moved as if they were 2 unrelated parties, each going their own way. Soon, Hagoromo Chihin spotted a town ahead. This town was slightly better than Yunjiao town, where Hagoromo Chihin had performed his first mission. At the very least, the roads were paved with gravel instead of being dirt paths. Forget it, I'll go in first. Looking at the small town before him, Hagoromo Chihin hesitated for a moment, then lifted his feet and walked towards it. The Kagaya young clan leader's destination might also be this town, so if he went in ahead and waited, he could rest a bit. Of course, if the other party's destination wasn't here, then he would have no choice but to begrudgingly leave the town and follow them again. Upon entering the town, to avoid losing track of the other party, Hagoromo Chihin casually found a stall by the roadside and sat. Down. What would you like? As soon as Hagoromo Chihin sat down, a middle-aged man enthusiastically asked. What do you sell here? Hagoromo Chihin asked. Guest, we serve breakfast. We have steamed buns, ramen, eggs, soy milk. Alright, just give me a bowl of ramen. Before the other person could finish, Hagoromo Chihin directly ordered a bowl of ramen. These past 3 days, in order to monitor the Kagaya young clan leader and prevent him from leaving the Kagaya clan grounds without his notice, Hagoromo Chihin's diet had been extremely simple, mostly wild fruits to fill his stomach, supplemented by the clan's secret energy pills. His mouth was practically tasteless now. Therefore, Hagoromo Chihin desperately wanted something with flavor to taste. Okay, please wait a moment, it'll be ready soon. Upon hearing Hagoromo Chihin's order, the middle-aged man immediately turned to prepare the food. Remember to add plenty of ingredients, I want something with a strong flavor, Hagoromo Chihin added. Yes, guest. After a while, in Hagoromo Chihin's perception, the Kagaya young clan leader and the 2 Chunin entered the small town. As Hagoromo Chihin was slurping his ramen, the Kagaya young clan leader passed behind him, then walked towards the center of the town. Hagoromo Chihin acted as if he knew nothing, quietly eating his noodles without turning to look at the other party. By the time he finished his bowl of noodles, the Kagaya young clan leader had also stopped in the center of the town. You must be Mr. Yamagami Nobuki. We are ninja of the Kagaya clan and have accepted your mission. One of the accompanying Chunin stepped forward first and began conversing with a merchant. Yamagami Nobuki nodded. May I see the mission request? Kagaya Matori stepped forward and handed over the black scroll. After unfolding the scroll and examining it carefully, Yamagami Nobuki said, Please follow me, everyone. With that, Yamagami Nobuki led 2 guards and the 3 Kagaya Matori up to the 3rd floor guest rooms of the inn. Closing the door, Yamagami Nobuki whispered, This batch of goods consists of weapons such as spears, bows and arrows, and long swords. Lord Iguchi of Hexen City intends to attack Lord Matsuyama of Higashiho, and to avoid arousing their suspicion, Lord Iguchi specifically commissioned me to purchase these weapons from the northeastern land of fire and transport them back. However, I'm worried about unforeseen incidents along the way, so I entrusted your clan to safely deliver this batch of goods to Hexen City. Is that all right? Yamagami Nobuki explained the detailed circumstances of the mission. Kagaya Matori naturally would not refuse this mission, so he nodded to indicate that there was no problem. Seeing this, Yamagami Nobuki smiled and said, In that case, I have arranged rooms for the 3 of you. Rest for a night, and we will depart tomorrow. Chapter 150 Corpse Vein. In the town, Hagoromo Chiharu strolled leisurely towards the town center. It was already noon, and in his perception, the young leader of Kagaya had not changed her location for a long time. Therefore, he guessed that the young leader of Kagaya probably wouldn't make any moves in the short term. Since that was the case, he might as well go to the restaurant in the town center to treat himself. If the young leader of Kagaya were to act tomorrow, he could even stay for a night, take a bath, and enjoy himself. Of course, if the young leader of Kagaya were to act now, he would still be able to react. After all, he would not lose track of her no matter what. Lunchtime. Hagoromo Chiharu booked a room in the restaurant and began eating his lunch. Although he was currently in the same restaurant as the young leader of Kagaya, Hagoromo Chiharu had not seen her at all. Just like that, Hagoromo Chiharu rested for a night in the restaurant, and after getting up and tidying himself the next day, he was no longer as disheveled. Restaurant backyard. Everyone, we can depart, Yamagami Nobuki said to Kagaya Matori after organizing the convoy. Kagaya Matori nodded, and the Chunin beside her said, Then let's set off. Yamagami Nobuki turned and walked into the carriage. Depart. Following Yamagami Nobuki's command, the convoy slowly started moving out of town. Kagaya Matori, seeing this, also jumped onto one of the carriages and sat on a wooden crate filled with goods. The other 2 Chunin of the Kagaya clan split up. One went to the very front of the convoy to scout, and the other went to the back to scout. Hagoromo Chiharu, who was eating breakfast in the restaurant, did not rush after sensing the departure of the 3 Kagaya members but continued to eat his breakfast unhurriedly. According to the intelligence he had gathered last night, the other party was merely escorting a merchant caravan composed of ordinary people, so their speed wouldn't be very fast. Therefore, Hagoromo Chiharu only needed to ensure that the other party did not leave his sensory range. After all, if he followed too closely, there would be a risk of exposure. Finally, after finishing breakfast, Hagoromo Chiharu felt that the distance was sufficient, so he paid his bill at the restaurant, walked out of town, and slowly followed them. This kind of escort mission was the most tedious, and Hagoromo Chiharu, who was tracking the young leader of Kagaya, felt this deeply. The 3 Kagaya members escorting the caravan ahead occasionally encountered bandits and robbers to break the monotony, but Hagoromo Chiharu, who was behind, was simply bored as he traveled. Meanwhile, in Lower Higashiho, in the central southern part of the Land of Fire. Since Lord Matsuyama had placed a spy by Lord Iguchi's side, Lord Matsuyama had already learned of Lord Iguchi's plan to move against him. However, Lord Matsuyama did not possess the strength to strike first and kill Lord Iguchi, so, in desperation, he could only hire ninja from the Kato clan to seize or destroy the weapons Lord Iguchi had purchased. Is that them? In the distant woods, 5 ninja with light blue hair gathered together. That's right, one person beside him nodded. Prepare. As soon as the words fell, the 5 immediately hid themselves. Yamagami Nobuki's convoy slowly moved forward. Suddenly, Kagaya Madori drew the short sword from her waist. Swish. A silver flash, and the short sword instantly plunged diagonally into the ground ahead. Along with it, a very thin steel wire snapped in the middle. Rumble. The explosive flames instantly kicked up a large cloud of dust in front. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. 3 kunai flew out in a triangular formation from the dust, followed by 2 light blue-haired ninja who also charged out from the dust. However, facing the 2 attacking ninja, Kagaya Madori showed no panic, she simply extended her right hand. Shikatsumyaku. Piercing bullet. As the words fell, 5 white finger bones instantly flew from Kagaya Madori's fingertips. Clang, clang, clang. Thud, thud. In the blink of an eye, 3 finger bones had knocked away the kunai, and the other 2 finger bones instantly pierced through the opponents' necks. Bang, bang. Hoo. The 2 fell to the ground, clutching their necks and gasping in pain. The Kagaya Chunin at the front of the convoy, seeing this, immediately stepped forward and took their heads. Suddenly, a Jonin of the Kato clan appeared with a body flicker jutsu, and her katana directly slashed at the Kagaya Chunin. Shikatsumyaku. Dance of the Camellia. Clang. Kagaya Madori instantly appeared, her right arm encased in a bone spear, blocking the strike, and then she kicked the opponent flying. However, before the opponent could land, Kagaya Madori used the body flicker jutsu again, her right arm's bone spear directly impaling the Kato Jonin. Seeing this, the remaining 2 Kato ninja were so terrified that they dared not come out, only hiding behind trees, silently praying that they had not been discovered. Kagaya Madori pulled her right arm out of the Kato Jonin's chest, then returned to the carriage's cargo box. The guards, seeing that the enemies were dealt with, breathed a sigh of relief, and Yamagami Nobuki, sitting in the carriage, also wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Continue. However, just as the convoy had traveled a dozen meters, Kagaya Madori suddenly extended both hands. Shikatsumyaku, 10-finger piercing bullet. Thud, thud, thud. Finger bones flew out, piercing through tree trunks. The 2 surviving Kato ninja had just relaxed when, in the blink of an eye, they felt a pain in their chests and died. The sudden battle immediately halted the caravan again, and Kagaya Madori spoke for the first time in a while. Keep going. The guards, hearing this, dared not object and once again urged the carriages forward. Far behind the caravan. Tch, these enemies are useless, Hagoromo Chiharu complained weakly. Only if the enemy's strength was sufficient to pose a threat to the young leader of Kagaya could he intervene to save her, thereby gaining her favorability. Even if this favorability was only a tiny bit, it would be enough for him to use the subordinate attribute value assignment. But now, the enemy's strength was too pathetic. Without Hagoromo Chiharu even needing to act, those 5 weaklings were effortlessly dealt with by the young leader of Kagaya. What was the point of this? Never mind, I can only hope for a few more stronger enemies to appear, otherwise, I'll have to figure something out myself. Hagoromo Chiharu shook his head and continued to follow the direction of his perception. Soon, 3 days passed, and Kagaya Madori successfully escorted Yamagami Nobuki to deliver the goods to Hoshinjo Castle. Before this, the Kato clan had also learned of the mission's failure. Damn it, Why would it be the Kagaya clan escorting the goods? The clan leader, Kato Taka, slammed his fist on the table in front of him.